Streaming today, we will be doing a series using the Marvel FOSRIP system. If you're not familiar with it, um, Google it, then Wikipedia it because it's mostly it's a really older system.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go farther than that. And that's it. We're gonna do some quick background for the game that we'll be playing today. It is based in 2019. You know, the far future.
Very distant future.
Distant future, in which there are people who have emerged with powers that are hard to explain and wrap your sciencey little minds around. So, a little moment of disbelief for that. Also, the world is suffering from a couple of travesties. A plague has come. It's popularly referred to as the thinning. It's killed a bunch of people. You'll find out more during game. And lastly, Trump is still president of the United States, and he's running for his second term.
Dun, dun, dun.
That has absolutely nothing to do with the game. We just figured we'd leave it in there just because. Today we have with us... Today we have with us Bruce, who will be playing...
You can let him know.
Chase Glitter Masterson.
Chase Glitter Masterson. Ooh, that sounds awesome. We'll go with character descriptions in just a second. We will also have with us Paul, who will be playing...
Kyle Justice, Texas Ranger.
Ooh. And
Now all I've got is the theme song stuck in my head. Oh man, this is gonna be good.
And we have with us my wonderful wife, Cassie,
Yeah.
who will be playing...
I am playing Maddie Williams.
Maddie Williams. And lastly, we have Evan with us, and he will be playing...
Bruce Farfield, Canadian model,
Yeah.
frat boy.
Excellent. Excellent. So,
I guess I should say Amarillo socialite. So,
who was that?
Oh,
Oh,
Maddie.
your character,
Yes.
yes. So we're going to be starting off, we've got some finishing up with characters to do. We've done a lot of, before this moment in time, we've got to finish getting the characters their starting equipment so that they have more than just the shirts on their backs, and then we will be starting with some role-playing. So, let's see. Oh, we should, when we do each person, when we start talking about equipment, I think that's when we should kind of describe ourselves a little bit while you are picking out the things you're interested in.
Sure.
So, the resources for this game are based upon your resource attribute. Everything in this game is the attribute. It's a poor, a typical, an excellent, a feeble, and rolling to procure something generally revolves around, is it close to the value? Is it above? Is it below? If you have 3 ranks above something, it's generally automatic, unless there's a chance for failure that is terrible. With purchasing, though, that doesn't happen. There's nothing terrible. So if you have something that you want to buy, like, oh, I want to buy that house. I have remarkable wealth, and the house is poor. Wow, that sounds like a terrible house, a poor house. You can buy it without question. Since this is starting equipment, we're not going to worry too much about it having an effect on your starting resources. And then, we should probably talk about group affiliation too.
So, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. It's going to be short, though.
Okay, yeah. Well, do and talk about whatever you want. Yeah.
Group affiliation. I posted some information on it, and it boils down to who do you associate with and who do you have a job with. So a lot of you probably have thought, hey, I want to work for this particular company. And with that comes a paycheck. So I want to go around real quick and ask everybody if they are interested in having a group affiliation of sorts. I've already talked with Bruce about Glitter's group affiliations. So we'll start with Evan.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as previously mentioned, he is a model for Abercrombie and Finch, and currently he is enrolled in Rock University's kinesiology program. So, once a week or so, he'll have to have access to a computer to look at assignments and submit
Excellent. Excellent. I have a little guide here. Where's my little book at? Give me books. Judge's book. Let's see. How much a model would make as resources? Because your character has resources.
When we did character creation, I found that I had a rank of 8 or good resources.
Which means you have... That's how much money your character has collected over the time. You put into your pocket. Your job will provide you an extra resource as in the form of a paycheck. You can use your paycheck to enhance your personal resources, or you can use it to buy things that you want. Looking at the list, I would say that a model would probably be equal to a salaried employment or maybe middle class wages. So that would be your job with Abercrombie and Fitch would be equal to a typical of a 6. So that gives you 2 resource groups to work from. Say you want to buy something, but you don't want to tap into your own personal resources, you can tap into your paycheck. And you still have to uphold to going and doing photo shoots and stuff. As far as it goes for your education, as a student, having the association with the university allows you to call upon professors to answer questions, those who answer their emails or their text messages. Any other... Oh, good. Any other affiliations you think Bruce would want to have?
For group affiliations, I've just written down Brock University and Abercrombie and Finch. I suppose he could be considered a frat boy if he's, a part of a frat. I have him listed as age 20, which, presuming, a standard education stream, he'd be in 3rd year right now. So I think that would be reasonable to assume.
Okay. A fraternity is not going to give you too much other than the rare chance of an association. Do you have, the name for the fraternity? His name is like Theta, Theta, Theta?
There's Sigma Chi. That's the only one I really know.
Isn't that from a movie?
No, that's the one. Well, most of the guys that I knew from the rowing team were on in that frat. So.
Yeah, a good day.
I'll go with Roar Omega Roar.
Ooh.
And I'm guessing no one here is quite young enough to know that.
Nope.
We're all old here.
No, it's from Monsters University.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I did not see that one.
Nope.
No, neither did I.
Excellent. Well, since we're finishing up with Evan's character's group affiliations, let's go ahead and move over to Paul's character and talk about what group affiliations he would have.
Kyle is a consultant for Bell Helicopter to augment his early retirement package that he got from the State Department of Justice. So he gets a stipend. It's not the full retirement because it was through injury, but he does get a monthly check for that. And then a friend of his has hooked him up as a security gig periodically when Bell has either needs somebody from the outside to test security, or if they have a special event going on and they need to augment their internal security staff.
Interesting. It sounds like a professional in employment there, almost.
Yeah.
Sounds like
it's he focuses on loss prevention, so trying to make sure people don't walk off with equipment or supplies, and then corporate espionage to make sure people don't, run off with secure government plans and or other corporate information that they want to keep privileged.
Okay.
I think that sounds pretty good. That sounds like it might be a good resources of a 10, which of course means that during game at some points Bell might be calling you for reasons to investigate if something happened What about your relationship with the Rangers?
Yeah, so that would be the Department of Justice. The Rangers are a division within the State Department of Justice, and then they are law enforcement, and that's the retirement. So he maintains relationships with people. He still knows folks and things like that.
So he's like
And
a consultant.
most of his professional, most of the relations that he's made with people have been through the, at least with people that he wants to be around, would be through the Rangers.
So he does not have any legal jurisdiction. He hasn't held on to anything like that.
No, he is officially, as far as all the paperwork is concerned, he is retired. He's off the
Excellent.
books. He gets his injuries have prevented him from being able to go back to duty. So as a result, they earlied him out and work it in as a disability related insurance. So he can still get in the door. He can still, he still has all of his friends. He didn't he wasn't a dirty cop or anything like that.
Oh, good. Very good.
So he's got all the connections, just not the badge.
Right. As a matter of fact, all of the contacts that I took were all through the background for each of the contacts that I have is all through the Rangers as well.
Excellent. I did a lot of research into the Rangers prior to the game so that I'd have an understanding of what their jurisdiction meant and what they were responsible for. It's actually rather interesting. They were dissolved prior to the Civil War to avoid any conflict or them taking sides in the conflict as far as it goes for an institution. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool sounding.
Yeah, they're the equivalent of state police, but they have a far more robust history, and their jurisdiction usually goes beyond what a lot of state jurisdictions allow for.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Kind of like a sheriff that spans the entire state.
Yep, they are an equivalent, and by my understanding, a police officer who covers on the same grounds as FBI, but for the whole state. They do investigations on everything. They deal with everything. All right, so moving on, we have. I think we've got that covered as far as that goes. Consulting information. Go ahead.
During character creation, we had established that the resources were a typical 5. Are you saying that I should adjust them to a good?
No, you have 2 resources. One
Gotcha,
which is
okay.
related to your group affiliation, and that group affiliation has a resource value of good of 10.
I'm with you. Thanks.
All right. Bruce, your character has associations with WHO, Doctors Without Borders, and you are, am I correct with working with the CDC?
Yeah.
I'm basically I have moved over to the CDC. I was originally working with the WHO, and then when I took up an interest in immunology, which I will have to buy later. They moved me over to the CDC. Then, as things got worse, the CDC asked for a permanent transfer. I moved over, and then they shipped me last year over to Amarillo, and I've been basically sort of keeping my connections with Doctors Without Borders, still sort of reporting to the WHO, but I'm predominantly working with the CDC. But I also have because of her background, she takes shifts as well during her downtime at the local regional hospital as an emergency surgeon, because she is considered one of the best in her field, particularly since her powers emerged. And even though they are somewhat erratic, there's still some hope that the patient on the table will be the one that receives the benefit each time that they come back out.
Did you
Excellent.
say her powers are erotic or erratic?
Erratic. Let's not go sexual this early in the.
I just wanted to make
Yes.
sure I heard that right because I'm thinking at the surgeon's table, that's a whole different thing.
Oh yeah.
No.
All right.
No. But also part of the problem with the erraticness of her powers is, as mentioned at the bottom of my blurb, one of the reasons why she has not been able to stop drinking is she's been receiving death threats from the patients who from the families of the patients she failed to save. and there's blaming her, saying that she should have used her powers, and yet,
Yeah.
they're still not under her control.
Bunch of dicks.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, people are,
Well,
especially.
with that description and my knowledge of doctors who work with the CDC, I definitely think that the CDC will be able to provide you with a resources value of good at a 10 as well.
Okay.
The CDC also comes with access to medical equipment and contacts. So, but they have a huge requirement, which you've already described that your character does.
Mm-hmm.
The connections with Doctors Without Border, the group affiliation with Doctors Without Border and the WHO provide you with more contacts in the medical field and the ability to ask questions of those contacts at a distance. You know, it's like, hey, can you help me figure this one out? So that's good.
And as mentioned, eventually I'll be picking up a talent in immunology and mutant studies, because the reason why they brought her in originally was because they were trying everything to treat these emergent people as being sick and trying to find ways to cure them. So since they couldn't really understand the disease part of it, they were looking at, can we, like in the really young days of medicine, if we give him a lobotomy, or we remove this organ, will this stop this from happening? And so she was brought in due to her youth and her talent as a surgeon. And that's sort of where the whole crossing over in a lot of the fields is going to lay the foundation for that.
Excellent. I like that. All right. Let's move on to the last member of our cast and discuss her group affiliations.
Okay.
So Maddie is a trust fund baby, for sure. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, she sits on the board of public relations for Belle, taking her father's spot because they really liked her father, so they're giving her a shot at taking his place. And she has dealings with the United Way for charities, and is pretty prevalent in the city council as well, because her family's been a very influential, been very influential on the city of Amarillo for like the past 20-something years. So, yeah, mostly that.
Okay.
She doesn't have a real job. She just
Does
does a lot of stuff.
Does sitting on the board for Bell pay anything?
I don't know. I would say it should pay, but I don't know if she would take like actual payment for it. Like if it pays anything, it just goes into the estate, and because that's what she handles is her father's estate.
Yeah, and that's your resources.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if I kind of quoted a number or something, it's not going to affect your resources,
Yeah.
which was remarkable if
Mm-hmm.
I remember correctly. Which is pretty good. I imagine the Bell estate in its totality, if you were in
In the Williams,
the what?
the Williams estate.
The Williams estate.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine if you were in control of it, are you in control of it in its totality?
I handle it on behalf of my mother.
Okay, so she's still on the name, her name's still on it.
Yeah.
So you don't have full control of the millions that are involved. You couldn't cash out and go buy a new house.
I mean, I could, but I'm not gonna.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So the remarkable will stay remarkable until you decide to, be a bit more spendthrifty. But considering that I've looked into how much Bell is worth, that I could definitely see an increase to your resources to an incredible. But let's just not worry about
Yeah.
it. It's not really necessary.
I don't
the
think
rest
so.
of your descriptions, as far as it goes for like United Way, and the city council, those are contact options.
Okay.
Which means you have to uphold contacting them and being part of their functions. They ask you to go, hey, can you be present at this function and say hi and stuff like that? You got to do it. That way you keep them up as contacts. You don't do it, they kind of start swaying away.
Yeah.
City council, on the other hand, is political power, which revolves around popularity. So by being on the city council, you can increase your popularity or use your popularity to make changes in the city.
Okay.
Which you actually have a pretty high
I
popularity.
do. I have a popularity of 25.
All right. So we've got group affiliations out of the way, and we just slid onto popularity. I want to talk about it for a minute. Popularity revolves around how well you're known in general for the world round. For those people who are residents of Amarillo and have been here for a while, your popularity is generally going to be about 5 points higher. So the only one that doesn't affect is Evan, because Evan, you're just new in town. Everybody else
So raise popularity by 5.
by 5 because you've been around, you're known in Amarillo. If your powers are known, that's not involving powers like being a Texas Ranger. There's a slight popularity involved in that, and that's in Amarillo. As soon as you leave Amarillo, that 5 points go away.
Gotcha.
So that's like locally
Local.
known. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that was kind of important. Let's see. So that takes care of group affiliations. I wanted to talk about the popularity. Does everybody remember how karma works?
We just get karma.
Okay, then I will refresh real quick, short and sweet. You have 3 different karmas. You have your karma, which is your character's karma. You have your advancement karma, which is where you put karma like a Swiss bank account,
Right.
so that it can't ever be touched or used except for advancing your character. And lastly, there's a karma pool. Karma pools are shared between people, so that if one person's low in karma, somebody else can tap into the pool and take advantage of it. I'm going to use this to segue into talking about the karma paths that you want to choose. In the file I sent out, there were 3: hero, anti-hero, and villain. I don't, you want to tell me which one you want to choose? That's great. I will be assigning karma and be bouting out, hey, this is what it all is. You do stop a robbery. It's worth I think 40 karma if you're a hero. 20 if you're an anti-hero.
Yeah, because you have it all written down on the sheet, so you guys can see the how much karma you get for what track and everything.
Yes.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah, and so what I'll do is say, this is what was done. You can figure out how much karma you have, and write it down on your character sheet. I would personally like to know which track you're following. You don't have to share it with everybody else, just so it'd be a fun way of role-playing your character, if that's what you want to do. So
Okay.
I just want to toss that out there.
Mine's in my history, so if you've read it, you already know it.
Yeah, some point during my workout routine, I read parts of it. Yeah. So I will go back over that. I apologize.
No worries. Like I said, it's been a rough week, so I figured I just wanted to get that up there, and I figured if you got to it, you got to it. It's been a day. It's been a week. I don't know if Cassie had a chance to read, but I did connect some of the dots with your character based on what we had on what we had discussed. So that's there. Also, you had mentioned when we were doing character creation that you didn't like the karma cost / earnings, and you were considering bumping it up to a ×10 reward. Are you still doing that, or are you just dropping that down there, Max?
No, I actually, the amount it takes to increase, I decided to cut all values by 1/4. So
Down to a 4th.
down to a 1/4. So things that cost 4,000, that was the most expensive thing in the game was getting a new superpower. It cost 5,000. It now costs 1,250. So it's within the realm of possibility. So I reduced everything to a 1/4 of what it originally was. The only thing I didn't reduce is for karma rolls. If you call karma on a dice roll, the minimum amount you can spend is still 10.
Okay.
Oh, and power stunting only costs 25 karma, where in the previous edition of this game, it was 100. Because that way you guys can power stunt.
Okay.
All right. So, talked about karma, talked about popularity. Let's buy stuff.
Going shopping.
Now, if you've had a chance to look at the Marvel playing book, there are incredible discrepancies in the equipment chart. Like flamethrowers. They're really not that expensive. Okay, that's fine. I imagine you could build or make a flamethrower. They stretch, I do believe, if I remember correctly, 6 city blocks.
That's ridiculous.
So, yes, if you want to buy a flamethrower, I'm going to kind of say no. I mean, you could build one, maybe if you got military contacts. Okay. Where is the thinning? And is this it? No, that's not it. Spending your money. All right.
And now I have ABBA running through my head.
So, anybody interested in having a weapon, a gun? Guns particularly that we're looking at.
I mean, I think that if you live in Texas, you have to have at least one gun. I'm almost sure it's a law.
I have several.
Yeah, right.
At least I plan to have several.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about guns. We'll talk about revolvers particularly. Revolvers have a cost of feeble. So, I forgot your character's name, Paul.
Kyle
Kyle.
Justice.
I need to make this a note real quick. Bruce. Chandra. Paul. Kyle. Evan. Evan, Bruce.
That's going to take a little bit of getting used to.
Yep. Cassie.
Evan being Bruce.
Yeah.
Instead of Bruce being Bruce.
The autonomic response syndrome.
So,
We'll make it work.
I can think of a name if you want me to.
No, it's cool.
No, it'll be
It's
more
cool.
fun this way.
This way I can learn not to answer to my name so that when somebody's trying to call me, I won't automatically turn my head. It's great.
So, revolvers. Revolvers cost feeble. So, what is Kyle's resources?
Typical.
Okay. That makes you 2 ranks above the cost of a gun. During character creation, anytime that you are 2 ranks above the cost of an item, you can automatically have it. So that means Kyle could have handguns, revolvers, in particular, revolvers. Multiple different revolvers. As many revolvers as you actually wanted.
Okay.
You take a step up to semi-automatic pistols. They cost poor. Those require dice rolls because it's one shift below what your actual wealth is. Unless you decided to use like your consulting resources to say, hey, I'm going to use my good consulting resources to purchase some semi-automatic pistols.
No, the revolvers will be mine.
All right.
I'll have a rifle. My plan is to have two pistols, a rifle, and a set of bolas to get me started.
Done. Revolvers are not going to be hard. Those you can buy multiples of. Do you want a particular like standard revolver, or do you want one that has more of a pack of a punch, or?
Standard is fine.
All right.
Can do.
All right. So the attributes on a revolver, I'll read them off real quick. Range is typical. Damage is 6. Rate of fire is 1. And carries 6 bullets. That's it.
All right, hang on. Range,
Typical.
damage, and what was the third category?
Rate.
All right, so it was typical 6, and what was the rate?
1.
Got it.
And then 6 shots. All right. A rifle. Do you want a hunting rifle, a sniper rifle, or an assault rifle?
The hunting of Winchester.
All right. Hunting rifles require a dice roll for purchasing. So you would have to, with your normal resources, you'd have to roll a 51 or better. With your job resources, you'd have to roll a 46 or better.
So roll a d100.
Yes, please.
I'll go to try to buy it on my own.
Excellent. 58. You succeed. So you have a hunting rifle. Hunting rifle has a range of good. Damage of 10. Rate of fire of 1. Shots of 6.
Okay.
All right. And bolos are... I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's something you could purchase without needing to roll. I imagine their range would be based upon strength. They would do no damage. And you could probably only throw about one of them around.
Sounds good. I'm not looking to damage. I'm looking for that to be an entrapment kind of thing.
Which I would say, yes, would fall under grappling. So you would use your agility to throw them, and the results would fall under the grappling table.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else interested in having a gun?
Yeah. I am.
Not at this time, but I presume circumstances will change Chandra's mind when certain things happen.
Okay. What kind of gun would you be interested in?
All the guns.
Well,
No, I'm just, not really.
anything that has a good value or less, your character can purchase without regard.
Okay.
So, sniper rifles are a no, but assault rifles are a yes. Shotguns are a yes. You could have some bows and arrows, crossbow.
Are the assault rifles, are those the ones that people that get all upset about?
AR-15s,
Yeah, that
yes.
one. I'm going to have one of those.
How many of those?
Like, I don't know. 2.
Okay. Well, these are the stats for an assault rifle. Do you want to copy them down?
I should.
Okay.
And then a shotgun. Everybody's got to have a shotgun.
Okay.
Okay.
So, assault rifle, shotgun. It's not like you need a gun.
Nope. But, you live in Texas, you got to have some guns.
Yes.
It's just how it is.
Okay.
And a hunting rifle. And...
Just to let you know, the shotgun information is based off buckshot, not solid slug.
Okay.
So it's for hunting birds and not hunting...
Or shooting people in the face.
Or shooting... Those are... You shoot politicians in the face with those.
Right.
All right, so the range... Did you want this...
Yeah, I don't know what I'm writing down.
range?
Okay. Uh-huh.
For the assault rifle, it's
You know
good.
what? Let's just do this later. I don't feel
Okay,
like it.
fair enough. All right.
Yeah,
So we're gonna have a violent woman and we're gonna have a pacifistic woman. So this will be really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stop doing harm! I can't fix all of them at once.
Yeah.
Stop shooting them.
The funny part is my plan is actually not to be violent. I just have the guns because, that's what you do.
Yeah, you'll be using them. I have faith.
Do you, either of you who have purchased guns, want to purchase any specialized ammunition?
Nah. Not me, anyway.
You want gel rounds? Yeah.
Gel rounds? Oh my goodness. You're cute.
I'll convince you. I have pheromones.
I do believe in this game they call them mercy rounds. Yes, they do. All right. If nobody wants any specialized ammunition, anybody want some melee weapons?
I will take a knife.
A knife. What is your resource you would like to use?
Knife is feebled, so I assume no matter which resource I take, I can just assume I have one.
Yes. The damage that is listed in the book, I'm not going with. The damage that I'm going with is, it says 10. I'm going to say the damage is, for a knife, strength plus 6.
That sounds like fun.
Because,
So is that your current rank number plus 6?
yes.
I'm even happier with that.
Yes, so your character has a bit of strength, if I remember correctly. Bruce is a little bit of a hunk.
Yep.
So yeah, Stabby McStabberson there. Anybody interested in a battle axe?
I would probably have a Bowie knife that I would keep too.
Excellent. It's the same cost, and you just heard the damage.
Yep. Oh, and a package of darts, just commercial, like from Walmart type darts.
Yeah, sure. You can have those. They'll probably do a point of damage if you actually stab somebody with them.
No worries.
Unless you stab them through their eyeball.
That's a different story. And it's also illegal.
I was saying.
Right. We're going to skip grenades.
Yeah, nobody needs those. That's like military shit.
All right. Let's talk about cars.
Yes.
What about smoke or flashbangs?
Yeah, I can see smoke and flashbangs as an option. Let's go back real quick.
I'd probably keep 2 in the trunk of the car
Uh,
with the right.
Smoke grenades cost good, and flash grenades cost excellent. What do you have to work for that?
I would still be rolling my just plain old typical resources, I guess. Well, I take it back. Those I'd probably get through work, so
Okay.
be good.
All right. With the flash grenades being an excellent, the reason the price is listed in that way, it's because you have to go through specialized contacts to get a hold of it. It's not something that's necessarily going to be on the market. But this book was written back in the 1980s, so things have definitely changed. Now we have the internet and Russian hardware. So I would say the flash grenade's probably a good thing, with the smoke grenade's probably a typical. So you'll still have to roll for both of them. It's just for the flash grenade and your good resources, you're going to need to get into the yellow. 64 will cover your need for smoke grenades. And you're going to need a 76 or higher to get your flash grenades.
Oh, well, I had labeled that first roll for the flash.
Oh, I see that now.
I'll do the second one for smoke.
Okay. Well,
Nope.
looks like your desire to have any grenades has not come through. You still
So
desire them.
Yeah, so I figured that I've used the ones that I had, and they're in my case in the trunk. There are 2 empty slots for flash grenades and 2 empty slots for smoke grenades.
I have no idea what the heck you would use those things for.
Crowd control.
Okay. Anybody else interested in grenades?
No.
Nope.
Let's talk about vehicles then.
I'm gonna drive a fire truck.
On page 48 of... That cost
I'm
incredible.
not,
That's
I'm
outside
not,
your cost
I'm
range.
not gonna do that.
You're going to
That's
have to roll
silly.
into the red.
Nah.
On page 48 of the player's handbook itself, there are vehicles, sedans, mini cars, sports cars, luxury cars. What kind of car... Oh, wait, Evan's on vacation. or Evan is actually Evan's character Bruce is down here working.
Yes, he is down here.
They
working.
probably
provide
would
a car.
provide a car. What's the resources for your job there?
You'd given me typical +1, so a typical of 6. I'm looking over the list. Nothing. Ooh, nothing below excellent.
Yes, that's for purchasing the vehicle. So let's find one that is a good. There's not even a good there.
No, the mini car is like the closest thing.
Man, cars were expensive back in the 80s.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't think that those are necessarily right.
I don't either.
Let's just upgrade.
Let's get knock 2 off of every cost on there. That still doesn't help.
Reverse inflation.
Yeah.
Reverse inflation.
No, they just make cars cheaper these days.
Actually, bicycle is a poor.
Oh,
That would be terrible.
motorcycle? No. Rocket car. That's what I'm talking about.
Bulldozer.
What page did you say it was on?
48 of the Player's Handbook.
So, the remarkable would go down to excellent and then to good.
Yes,
So-
remarkables would go to good, excellence would go to typical. So you could afford you could be renting a mini car, because that would be reduced by 1 more rank, or you could be renting a sedan.
Right. I would argue because I'm not renting it, that the company's renting it.
Mm-hmm.
The resource is actually a lot higher, but the only kicker is I don't control the car at all. If that makes any sense.
It does, because they could return it on you at a moment's notice. The question is, what is your popularity with the company?
20 currently.
All right, so I tell you what, we'll say popularity will probably, because they need you to be able to get around, they don't want to babysit you the entire time. The photographers got their stuff to do. You're not always going to be on a photo shoot while you're down there in Amarillo. They'll probably get you a sedan.
Alrighty.
All right, Paul, what does Kyle drive?
Well, I suppose it depends on what I end up with. But he was out shopping for a motorcycle to see if he qualifies for the financing.
But this is 1980 prices, and so it's expensive.
Right.
A motorcycle purchasing would be about a typical.
Well, that'll be a challenge. So what do I need to roll for that one?
51 if you use your resources, and 46 if you use your job's resources.
Well, I'll try to buy that one on my own. If I can't get my own, then I'll see if I can't get some kind of a truck through work.
Okay. On a side note, if you decide to take
Awesome.
congratulations. Yes, you were able to fully buy and pay off a motorcycle.
A birthday present.
Very
yourself.
nice. And what is the Dr. Chandra?
Yeah, I figure given that she does a lot of traveling, she doesn't really keep a lot of personal effects or own much. The place where she's staying is probably a rental, and as such, I'm figuring that the CDC/hospital probably provides her with a rental vehicle through the good resources, because again, she doesn't know whether or not she's going to be leaving on a moment's notice due to an assignment. So I'm thinking a convertible, and then just she doesn't own it, but they just said, here, use this, we need you to get from here to here to here when you're doing your work.
A convertible. Good deal.
Nice.
Yeah.
They really
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah, well, I figure, it's a perk for part of the job of the fact that she's probably pulling in, 60 to 80 hour work weeks. So
Yeah.
another reason why she drinks.
Oh, goodness.
What about Maddie?
All
what
right.
color do you want your fire truck to be?
Canary yellow,
Yeah,
turn it
right?
into a submarine.
Exactly. No, I think that I would like to, I think she'd want, like, a Jeep,
All right.
actually. Yeah.
Okay.
And a fancy Jeep.
Fancy Jeep.
But, like, well-used Jeep at the same time.
Huh, that's ironic. I just noticed
What?
that on a motor trike and Jeep, they misspelled off-road in the book. It's oft-road.
Off-road?
They are often on the road.
Indeed. So does Maddie wear Daisy Dukes by chance?
Nah.
Oh, come on, it goes perfectly well with the Jeep.
I know, right? Well, maybe she does on occasion.
To better show off the tattoos.
Exactly.
Alrighty then. After everybody's got a vehicle, and Amarillo, Texas is very spacious, so being able to get around is important. When it comes to a place to live, I'm just going to ask. I'm assuming Maddie has a home.
Yes.
Yeah. So. So there's no question about she has an address and a place here to live that she's in, right?
Yep, that's 100% correct.
And Chandra, she is probably staying at a hotel.
I was thinking probably more just a rental apartment, but again, due to the fact that she's more often at the hospital or the CDC, she's probably sleeping in her office just as much.
Excellent.
Because I see her as this is a long-term transfer, but given that quite often you are up and told, get up and go here at a moment's notice, she's learned to be very nomadic otherwise. So it's great that they provide this stuff, but she's really lost any connection to having any sort of foundation or grounding, which again plays into part of what's going on in her psychology, and again why she turns to drink, because again there's an emptiness that she hasn't quite come to realize is sucking away at her soul, given the fact that she doesn't have time to really ground out and bond with people. It's constantly jump, do this, jump, do that.
Yeah.
Always busy.
Yep.
Nice.
She's going to have a lot of psychological tics that she needs to work through.
Would a Derringer be anything special?
Yes, Derringers are one of the options. I have it on my little folder that I have.
Unless that would be some kind of an extreme weapon to have. I want one of those too for a wrist, like a quick pop.
Yeah. Range is feeble, damage is 6, has one shot, one fire rate.
Yeah, that sucker sits in a little wrist sliding sheath.
Nice.
Okay. What about Kyle? Where does Kyle live at?
A low feature kind of a apartment, nothing fancy, you know, one of the pretty typical 4-box type apartment buildings run by some little old lady who that's her retirement package.
When she got rid of, when she stopped working for the corpse.
Oh, her husband probably died and they had used it as investment money up till then, and now she lives in one of the units and she rents out the other 3. No real maintenance guy or anything like that. You just pay your rent and get your get a four walls and a roof over your head.
Yeah.
And hope nothing breaks.
Pay your rent and fix things yourself.
Yeah, unless it's major.
Yeah.
It doesn't leak and it's not fancy, and the stove's probably 7 years old, but it works, and the mattress is relatively new.
Excellent.
When I was looking for an apartment down here in St. Petersburg, I moved into a really small one. I thought it was small, but I looked at one that was smaller. It was a stove that had only 2 burners to it.
Yeah, that's all you need. One
And
for
I-
the beans and one for the hot dogs.
That's exactly right. That's what the landlord told me, and I was like, no.
You can boil pasta in one and heat the sauce in the other. You
Yeah.
don't need more than
I
that.
know. But I digress, and we move on to purchasing what else? I don't think there's anything else to purchase other than asking you guys what you might be interested in. There's other stuff on page 58 of the little book, like fire extinguishers and sniper sights,
there a-
flashlights.
Bulletproof vest.
There should be.
Yeah, I would assume so. There's a flak jacket, but I don't know if that's a.
Yeah.
There's
Other
a
than that,
discussion of
just
salaries.
like 20 pairs of blue jeans. I'm not paying for my hat. I got that when I separated from the Rangers. I get to keep my white hat.
Excellent.
Nice.
I got 2 pair of cowboy boots, 1 pair for wearing and the other pair for resting.
Well, you'd probably have handcuffs.
Oh hell, who knows what I got in the trunk? Box of
Nice.
zip ties, bungee cord, tire iron.
Jumper
Well-
cables.
Well, pool cue, broken down pool cue. One end of it's never hit a pool ball. The other end of it's got all kinds of skull-shaped dents in it.
Just wondering, how much would a couple pill bottles of melatonin be?
Oh, that'd be nothing.
Nothing. You've got it.
Perfect.
Somebody's got problem sleeping. $4 bottle of tequila will fix that.
I would probably be looking at wanting to have a laptop and a basically medical bag / surgical bag that I'd be carrying on me all times.
Oh yeah.
Done.
I want to own a gym.
I don't think you can own people regardless of what their name is.
They kind of got rid of that some time ago.
Oh man, no,
Yeah.
guys, I wouldn't do that. No.
You might be able to be like,
Want a laptop just for school.
Yeah, laptops and computers.
definitely, if you guys want a laptop, that kind of thing is fine. Smartphone is definitely fine. Owning a gym, only if it's one of those fly by the seat of your pants kind of gyms, like
Dude,
an Anytime Fitness.
Dude, it's CrossFit gym. It's like a warehouse. And
Oh
with
yeah,
some
that
equipment.
makes it cheap,
yeah.
and the equipment is just rocks that have holes drilled in them.
Yeah, and used semi truck tires and shit.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
I've got a flip phone. I don't want one of them damn.
Dominican a while ago, and what they did was just filled a bucket with cement, stuck a metal rod in it, let the cement dry, and pulled the cement out.
Yeah. That's all you gotta do.
That's
Make your own.
crossfitting.
I don't know. I mean, yes. There are like actual equipments, but most of it's just like boom, like weights, lots of weights.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
And I'm using a flip phone. I don't want any of those confangled other things. All in screens and push buttons and all that. I don't need that nonsense.
You don't need the internet on your phone.
I don't need the internet, period.
By the way, are we supposed to be on Twitch right now?
Nah, I have it up just in case anybody pops on. But no, you don't have to be on there. This is for my monitoring purposes because then I can just upload it straight to YouTube and I don't have to worry about like transferring files and shit.
Fair enough.
Flak Jacket. Flak Jacket's price is excellent and provides good body armor.
What do I need to roll for that one?
You have to get into the red for that one. That one's going to be a hard buy. I'd say good because of your connections. Or you'd have an excellent chance at it. So you need to roll a 71 or greater.
Nope.
I have to come back to that.
I got the jacket, but they didn't put any of the armor plates in it.
Better get.
So anybody who sees me thinks that I've got a flat jacket on, but
Nice.
there's no actual the ceramic plates that should be in there. I didn't get any of those.
You put in aluminum.
Better get a skillet.
Yeah,
I
right.
bought it. I bought the jacket at a old army supply store, and he couldn't. He was legally restricted from being able to sell the plates. But I bought a mess kit and a canteen, and he likes me.
Nice. All right. Anybody need anything else? Evan?
I don't need anything else. I'm just looking at it though. Flak Jacket's excellent. Beta Cloth is remarkable. Flak Jacket is good body armor, whereas Beta Cloth is typical. I'm just wondering if you might want to bump down Beta Cloth for a, I don't know, makeshift Kevlar jacket.
Beta cloth was a particular type of material that was prior to. Oh man, what is that guy's name? The stretchy guy.
From the
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Stretch guy.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yes, Mr. Fantastic created beta cloth prior to coming up with unstable molecules, and beta cloth was the original costumes that they wore. It provided typical body armor, but it also kind of conformed to their changing shapes. But it wouldn't survive when Johnny would catch on fire.
Okay, yeah, and excellent protection from heat and radiation. Just reading it now.
Yes.
Okay. I was just wondering why there was that odd pricing and
Yep. No, it's fine. It's fine. Throughout the book you'll catch a lot of stuff that revolves around the Marvel universe, and I've edited most of it out in the files. If you look through my files, I've edited stuff out. Like they talk about Wolverine a lot.
Well, he was popular at one point.
Yeah, especially in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
to be fair, Wolverine was basically the face of Marvel.
Ooh, I have to agree with you on that one. But now it's Robert Downey Jr.
Iron Man? Yeah, probably.
No, Robert Downey Jr. That's the face of Marvel now.
I don't know. Hugh Jackman could pull a almost identical just for pure recognition factor, given how he was basically boosted doing the whole Wolverine thing.
Yeah.
But no, if I were to actually say the most notable recognized person in at least the comic books now, it would have to be Hydra's Captain America.
Oh, fuck that.
Oh my god, why did you do that?
Why did you have to bring that shit up, man?
Because I hate it, but unfortunately that's what's creating all the talk right now. Still.
I don't even want to comment. I'm not gonna say anything.
Believe me, I wrote them a rather interestingly long letter, which only had 2 expletives in it, which was amazing given the fact that about every other second word in my head was an expletive.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you on that one. All right, so we'll move over to Bruce. Does the good doctor need anything other than a smartphone, a computer, a medical bag?
Well, I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to get her a little bit more twisted or not. But if I am, I will talk to you in private about that.
Do you think she should have a bottle of a flask with Bacardi rum in it?
Bacardi is too light. It would either be Everclear or JD,
What?
Wow.
Ooh.
She hits it
or a
hard.
mix of the two.
She hits the alcohol hard.
What about Bacardi 151?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like, I was thinking Bacardi's too light. What about JD? Bacardi 151's a lot stronger.
It's almost
Never had-
almost as strong as Everclear, right? That's just
Yeah,
nasty.
pretty much. Bacardi 151 is 75.5%. JD's typically only like 40 to 43.
Yeah, it's
I've never had this stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to.
My apologies. Bacardi 151, I don't think is legal in the States anymore.
Sure it is.
Canada it is.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
yeah. You can get,
I'm pretty sure with her connections, she can bring it in for medical necessity.
I need to use the clean wounds.
Exactly.
Nice.
Best thing out there. Yeah. Best thing out there when I was out in Africa. Quickest way to clean the wound. It burned, but it worked. Um, yeah, we'll have a flask of something. It'll vary depending on the week she's having. And beyond that, no. She probably has a nice. Actually, that's probably the main feature point in her apartment is that she does have a mini bar set up with a few different alcohols based
Yes.
upon the style of day that she's had.
A mini bar that takes up the largest wall of the apartment.
Exactly. And bar stools.
Yes.
And a couch that she sleeps on because getting into and out of bed and making it takes too long. And she has no time to date anyway. So she just picks up the occasional toy and moves on.
Excellent.
All right, we end with we're going to go to Paul and see what Kyle might need. Anything else?
Oh, I got a few bottles of pain pills sitting on the counter there.
Okay. Pain pills done.
Other than that, got what I need to go to work tomorrow and enough food in the refrigerator to make it to the store, so I'm pretty much all right.
Excellent. And Maddie.
Well, anything that I don't have, I'll just buy.
I did add, I should mention, back when you mentioned it, a laptop and a smartphone.
Oh,
So,
yes, I did hear that.
Yeah. Because I can't think of anything else right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a smartphone and a laptop, at least
Yes.
one or two of them.
Probably, yeah. I have to go with the, Apple and PC just to make sure that I got everything covered.
you're politically correct.
Yes.
And you have one of those little fans that are that's got one of those high energy batteries in it that you carry around with you so that you can just like turn it on and hold it up to your face and stay cool all day long.
Nah, you don't need that really.
It would definitely disassociate you a little bit more from the public.
It would. But I don't want to be too far removed,
True.
Yeah.
Well then, I think we've got equipment covered. We've got all the little bits and pieces for our characters covered. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add about their character they think is important at this time before we get started?
Rocky would say no.
Yeah.
He was meowing in the background.
Oh.
Oh, the kitty. Okay.
The other one.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm good.
I think I'm pretty well good. Most of what I have planned for her can either come out during RP, and as I also mentioned, I'm going to let her personality evolve in play.
Excellent.
I figure, hey, it also works given the whole theme of Emergence.
Yes. Paul, do you think there's anything else you want to go over with Kyle real quick?
Not that I can think of. I'm sure 15 minutes into things we will.
Great.
As usual.
And Evan?
Indeed.
I'm looking over karma advancement, and I think I'll put my 100 karma into the advancement fund instead of the karma pool.
Excellent.
Yeah. I would have to.
Oh, are we supposed to do that now?
Yeah. This is at the beginning of the game. This is when you would move karma. Everybody has 100 karma because everybody coughed up with a picture.
Yes.
In fact, everybody came up with a picture and has a decent amount of background. Even Bruce's extensive amount of background that he put up for Chandra. I'll give an extra 50 karma for that. So everybody's starting off with an extra 150. At this time at the beginning of the game is where you would move it into your advancement fund or keep it in your regular karma.
That's going into my advancement fund.
The good news about advancement fund, you can't touch it, and for the most part, neither can I. if you get attacked by a creature that absorbs karma or sucks karma and stuff like that, like a vampire, they won't be able to remove that.
Cool.
If you are choosing the hero route and you accidentally have someone die, the advancement karma will lose some, and in the karma section of the file, you'll find out exactly how much you lose based upon which track you followed. All right.
And what was the
I will put.
Oh,
Go
Evan?
ahead.
explained?
Say again.
Where are the tracks explained?
In the karma file, under the... Oh man, hang on. On the Slack, in general chat?
I think you can find it in the documents, the uploads, if there's a place for those. All
All
files.
files. So you go to all files, you scroll down a bit, and you'll find one called Karma Awards and Advancements. It's right after Kyle Justice's first picture. Did you find it?
Thank you.
Bruce, you were going to say?
I'm also going to move it into advancement karma.
Oh, okay.
I have talents to purchase.
So everybody looks like they're saving for advancements. Great.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be moving all 150 into the advancement. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do 100 into advancement and 50 into the pool.
Great. By the way, pushing your powers or power stunting comes from your karma, not your advancement.
Okay.
So if you're like, hey, I want to do the power stunt, that comes out of your pocket, not your advancement pool.
Okay. So have some spare karma handy?
I would suggest so. Because that's your, I screwed up my dice roll, but you say I spend karma before you roll the dice, though. That's important.
Right.
Amarillo, Texas is a very hot place, especially in September. The weather is dry, and the people there, they like it that way. It does rain. Every once in a while, rain comes across the plains, and they have a very rich lifestyle, a very robust lifestyle of being outdoors a lot. They have a lot of sports and activities that they do outdoors. There's Little League and Pee Wee games, football, baseball, and a variety of sports to go to. While looking over the map of Amarillo, I noticed a lot of fields. Lots of fields. I loved it. I thought it was pretty cool to look at. They also have a very huge interest in rodeos and livestock shows, barrel racing, bareback riding, and roping. The Amarillo Tri-State Exposition is a very large fairground that hosts a variety of Somebody needs to mute the microphone. Excellent. So we're talking about the county fair. We're talking about
4-H club.
the 4-H club. We're talking about live stock shows, rodeos, and that's where we're starting our day off. Your character has been in Amarillo for a little while. Maybe you've been busy. Maybe you've got a lot of stress. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to go out and see what's going on in the local fair. And it is a fair that's going on for about 2 weeks, actually 20 days to be exact. There are auctioneers barking in the distance, yelling out the varieties of I can't even do it. I love listening to them just
I know.
da-da-da-da-da, and they're
Yeah,
saying
I'm
stuff.
gonna find some really good recordings of that to add to this.
And so there's livestock sales going on where they're selling horses and cattle and pig by the head. They have horse shows where they're showing off horses. And this is a big thing for the citizens of Emerald to go do. There's also, it's a fair. So they have carny rides and funnel cakes and a chance to get out and drink beer and taste some of the local fare like corn dogs, fried Snickers, fried Twinkies. You know, so you got carny food going. And then there's the rodeos and the bull riding. So there's a lot of things to do at the fair, and that's where we're going to start our game at. It is a warm September night, as where you are all, by chance, going to be starting the game at the county fair.
Max, before you get going too far, would it be appropriate to take a quick break now before we get rolling, and that way we can just push through to the end?
That sounds perfectly fine. I appreciate that. I've had a chance to get up my intro, and if we want to take a quick
5 minutes?
7-minute break,
5 to 7? Okay. Yeah.
how's that sound?
All right. Yep, makes sense to me.
Alright.
Sounds good to me.
All right, back in 7.
Back in 7.
Boom. You wanna pop that out so we can hear people if they start getting back early? So good job so far.
Thank you. I tried to power through the whole few bits of character stuff that I wanted to really do
Yeah.
on thing, but it just didn't work out that way. It was fine. We did it. We powered through it. It only took an hour and a half.
Yeah, so we are going to
Find out what people in the fair
mm-hmm.
have a chance to do some description,
Mhm.
have them a chance to do the talkie-talkie,
Mhm.
and then talk about the show, the bull riding, the shows are going to go on. And, you know, somebody's like, hey, well, I'm going to go watch the rodeo. Great. Well, the bull riding's right after that. Oh, cool. I'll hang out for the bull riding. That's kind of the motivation. And no matter where everybody's at, they're going to be near where the bull riding's happening when I give the go for it. And I'm going to try to get there by about 9-10 at most,
Okay.
to being where Brass Balls
Brass balls.
kicks the shit out of a cowboy and goes after a clown.
Snorts that clown up in the air like nobody's business.
Yes.
Fucking shit.
That should roughly then consume till about 9:40, about 30 minutes. And then 20 minutes of, okay, step away. Now we're going to go do some stuff. We're going to have a chance for the characters to talk about their own stuff. I'll dull out some information revolving around the background information that I've already had. They'll have a chance to say something. And we'll call it a night around 10:15.
Sounds good.
Me too. But just not at the same time. Oh yeah, I have to. It's so special. Oh my goodness. Very nice. We can still see stuff from here too.
I'm gonna start packing that stuff up to go somewhere. Before you guys leave, I'm really assuming that we're gonna be leaving. You guys are gonna leave on Friday to come up to Jacksonville at this point. I think it's almost guaranteed.
It's almost guaranteed. We should check since we have the moments.
Right, I know, but I just want to go through this whole thing. So Thursday or Friday before you leave, you need to throw out everything that's in the fridge, freezer, or take it with us, or take it with you, because we need to close off the breaker in case of flooding and power. So that's.
Oh yeah, that's yes.
We'll need to close all the doors, all of them, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna take probably one of the tables and put it here, or take that thing and run over and put it here and stack these up. We're gonna use the tables to take down all of those books, and we're gonna put the books on the tables, and then we're gonna put whatever else we want to put on top of those on the thing. Right? Got it? Okay. And the other last thing is you're gonna need to tape or tie all of these and all the ones in the kitchen shut. Anything that we can lift up off the floor, we should do. At least for like a good foot, like anything here or below, we should probably lift up. And here's the one part I'm not sure about. This is gonna be so I can install this, but this is not that I can do it then you have something kind of cover the last thing. That as is, and just put like heavy stuff like that stuff on this little thing so you can get it in place. We're basically gonna just consolidate all of this stuff that we have in here.
I think everything we have we should do. Because we have to step on it.
So, the last step is when we're moving everything, I'm gonna try to see about getting all this space cleared, so that way we can set up the tables, because we wanna have the tables as far away from everything as possible.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to move the thing over, and, yeah, so.
Lots of reorganizing.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to help as much as I can. As soon as I figure out what my work schedule's like, that'll be tomorrow.
That's fine. I'm gonna get Tabby to help me too when she gets home.
Okay.
And yeah. I don't know. Is there anything else you can think of?
No. Let's check the weather on your computer real quick.
Yeah.
Not mine. And we've been away for 8 minutes now.
Okay. Well.
All right, and we are back as well. Sorry about it. Just took a little extra few minutes to take care of business.
Never even noticed.
I missed you tremendously. That's worth extra 5 karma.
All right, so we know where the brown's coming from.
Which this does bring up a good point. In the Karma Award and Advancement, there is Karma Award for, snarkiness or comedy. Just to let you know ahead of time. Take a look at that stuff. See what you can get points for.
Adds to the game that is funny or serious.
Yes. Popping out a pun every 5 minutes is not gonna. At some point, it's just gonna slow the game down. All right. So, where was I? Oh yes. Talking about the county fair, the livestock show, and the rodeo. We're going to start game, and you have all come to the county fair, the rodeo, for any particular reason. And let's go around the table and start off with Kyle. Why is Kyle at the county fair?
Well, Are we familiar with one another at all, or are we all strangers?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Well, I would say that I know of Kyle, and I am acquainted with gosh, what's your last Chandra? But I don't know your last name, because I would call you Doctor.
Masterson.
Right, Dr. Masterson. So I'm acquainted with her. I think the only person that I wouldn't know is Bruce.
And there's a mild chance I might know Bruce because of the fact that at one point I briefly modeled in my teens. And may still vainly keep a minor eye on it, even though it wasn't for me. Just one of those, well, maybe. Either that or I was looking distractedly through a models magazine at one point. I went, I need to get to know him.
So I'm at the fair. I brought my Winchester with me, and there's a shooting contest. And I plan to take home the blue ribbon.
Nice.
All right. What has caused Bruce to come to? I forgot. Bruce is Farfield. What is Bruce? Farfield or Fairfield?
Farfield.
What has caused Bruce Farfield to come to the county fair?
Well, I figure he met a local pixie, and the local pixie said, "Hey, why don't we have some fun out on town?" And instead of taking him to a bar, she took him to a fair.
Awesome. All right. And Doctor?
The doctor's going mostly for nostalgia because this kind of reminds her of living in Alberta, though the Calgary Stampede was definitely way better. And she's looking for a distraction given that she lost a patient on the table the night before.
And it's the only place you can actually get publicly drunk and no one's going to arrest you.
Sure, we'll go with that. Though she doesn't tend to get publicly drunk, she just happens to have a nip or six and, steadies her hand now and again. But, yeah, she's there looking for a distraction and really not succeeding.
What about Maddie?
Oh, Maddie is there. Her family is one of the sponsors of the fair and the rodeos, and so she is actually really interested in the rodeos themselves. Like, they've been going on for a couple weeks-ish, and now they're starting to wrap up, and all of the really good people are finally getting up on their bulls and their horses, and so she likes checking that out.
She likes watching the athletes work.
She does like watching the athletes work.
She enjoys Baby's Got Back by chance?
Ha! Mayhaps.
Because cowboys normally don't have tats.
That's alright. I don't know. I don't know, maybe they do.
There are
And the
some.
brands.
Brands, yeah, that's what they call them.
There are rougher cowboys. I've met cowboys who have tattoos.
Yeah.
They generally have like 2 or 3, but not as many as Maddie might have.
Yeah, no.
They would definitely consider her a little bit odd to want so many markings. They want tattoos of like girlfriends' names or steer horns or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now the more
Chevy.
yeah, or Chevy. Now the more Latino group of people, more toward the Latino side of the city of Amarillo, yeah, tattoos are a thing because there are several small gang elements that, tattooing is a sign of heritage of their group.
Well, I don't have any teardrops on my face, I'll tell you that right now.
Okay,
So.
okay. All right. So the night is hot, and dusty, but at the rodeo it's not as dusty because they throw down hay to cover up
Yeah.
the grounds.
Keep it from kicking up too much.
Keep it from kicking up, and we're going to do some short, brief descriptions with. We'll choose. Kyle Justice.
Yeah, Kyle.
What may I do for you?
All right. So you have come to the county fair to do some shooting competition. Blue ribbon. The blue ribbon take home is a $250 gift certificate to Walmart, as well as the ribbon and a cool statue.
And don't forget, there's probably like a, big steak dinner or something.
A what?
A big steak dinner or something.
Ooh,
Yeah,
you know what? There's that. When I was looking at Amarillo, what was that steak place?
I don't
Hang
remember.
on, I wrote it down.
Did you write it down? Okay.
Abilene Cattle Company.
Big Texan Steak Ranch offers a 72-ounce steak. It's on the east side of Amarillo, and the blue ribbon comes along with one of their 72-ounce steak dinners.
Porterhouse is a mighty good cut.
So, give us some descriptions about how the shooting competition's going.
Well, I mean, I was able to finagle a little bit with a couple of the judges that I knew, so I didn't have to shoot in the lesser rounds. They, if you had prior competition, you were able to kind of skip ahead a bit, and those that weren't quite as experienced had to prove their mettle. But since I knew a couple of them and I had some past shooting experience from law enforcement days, they were able to kind of shoo me into a couple of the later rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's youngins there they've got their little pop guns that they go off and they think there's something else because they can take out a squirrel. I'm waiting for the ones that really know what they're doing and they start pushing those targets out further and further.
Excellent. And so, how is the competition stacking up against Kyle?
Oh, there's always going to be. I mean, this is hunt country, so there's always going to be guys out there, especially some of the ranchers that, they protect their herds and stuff from coyotes, and they make sure that they take down a good hare from a distance, so they know what they're doing. I mean, I'll give them that.
Okay. So, what we do for the competition is we set it as a feat challenge, and we look at what your ability is for shooting, and then we set whether or not it's going to be like a challenging shot, a weak shot, strong shot, stuff like that. And so let's do that real quick. What is Kyle's shooting at which is based off agility, and talents give bonuses to that. And if I remember correctly, Kyle does have a talent that helps increase his shooting.
Right. So my marksmanship is unearthly.
And that was your skill, marksman.
Correct.
Awesome. All right. So
and that pairs up with my power of ultimate skill.
I don't think anyone's going to come anywhere near close. Even with somebody that is, has a good agility or a lot of skills, are they going to come anywhere near, anywhere near having an unearthly? But let's see what we've got going for us. Where are some percentile dice? I got some. I've got this set that hates me. So let's see how well that works out. Nope. That's a D8. There we go. Alrighty then.
They're going to need more advantage than you can give them with an 8. My objective is to put a round through the hole that the prior shooter shoots.
Oh, you slide.
Ooh, all right. So the final competition comes together, and of all the shooters, we end up with Alice Jackson, Belle Millman, Ben Millman. Sorry,
That's great.
Ben. Man, I'm having problems. Give me a second. Ben Millum, Ruth Gibson, and Robbie Hunt. Make a. What was it again? It was intuition roll to see if you recognize any of those names. No, it was reason. It's reason. Make a reason roll. See if you recognize any of those names.
Probably not.
What's your character's reason?
Typical 5.
No. Only name that comes up that you know is Robbie Hunt, Vietnam vet who was a sniper over in, overseas during the war, the Vietnam War.
But he doesn't talk about it.
He doesn't talk about it. He wears his vet hat and shirt and rides a motorcycle. He's a much older gentleman.
We probably met on a couple of charity rides.
I imagine so. Well, anyways, Alice Jackson's going to get up a chance to shoot, and so when they shoot and put a hole through the center or wherever they put their holes, how do you intend to make it happen that somebody even knows that your bullet went through the hole?
I put it through the right hand half. So my round should extend the hole that they put to the right by half.
Nice. All right. Let's see how Alice Jackson does. Now, Alice is a trained sharpshooter. She's been sharpshooting for a while. She's got an excellent she's got a good agility and an excellent in her with guns. So let's see how she gets off with this roll. A 17. Her first 3 shots, one of them hits, which looks pretty poor, and the judges even make comments toward that. All right. Ben Millum. Let's see how he does. He's a little bit better of a shot than Allison. He has an agility of good, but he also has training with rifles and is a marksman. So he actually rolls on a remarkable. He's able to he gets all 3 of his shots to land on the target, in the circles, close to the center. Not really well clustered, but at least he's hit the target, which was better than Allison did. Next up is Ruth Gibson. She's been a shooter all her life. She has a good agility just like the rest, but she has marksman. So she's talented in a bunch of different guns. So firing rifle today, this is what she's doing. Let's see how well she does. 88. In the yellow for her. So she clusters really close to the center and gets lots of scoring points. Because I know they do point values for where the 3 shots land. Mm-hmm. All right, Robbie Hunt. He has experience, training, and he's been around for a while. His agility isn't that good anymore, but it's a typical. But with his experience and his training with the weapon and his marksmanship, he's firing at an amazing.
Ooh.
And today is not his day on this first round. He misses the target with all 3 shots.
Damn.
So the only person through the first round that you're even being able to challenge is the young Ruth Gibson. So what you would do is, because this round is a shooting competition, is you would roll against your shooting and try to get better than what she got. She got in the yellow, so you're trying to get either in the yellow or the red.
All right. That should be in the white, right?
That is in the white.
Oh no.
That's right. Gotta make them feel good.
Okay. All right, so this round of the shooting competition goes to Ruth Gibson. Everybody's all like, "Ooh yeah, she's young, she's fresh talent, she's making the old dogs look bad." That's round 1 of shooting. So they move into round 2 of shooting. And before we continue round 2 of shooting, we're going to see what everybody else is doing. We're going to do like a little round robin thing here.
Yep.
So let's go check out and see about Dr. Masterson.
Okay, you were cutting out a little bit there, so I'm not sure if you asked me a question before the Dr. Masterson or not.
I did. We're doing round robin for this part, so what I would like to find out from you is what kind of little thing Masterson is doing while wandering around the fair.
Oh, let's see. Well, she's gonna go find the cotton candy stand, and she is going to basically, because she's feeling down, she will purchase cotton candy for herself and every child in the lineup, provided their parents give permission.
Okay.
Because when the children's faces lights up, that helps take some of the glumness away.
Oh, cool. Doing a little charity work with the kids. Make sure they're all happy and hyped up.
And besides, that way their parents get no sleep when they get home, because, you know, she knows how to be a good aunt. Even if she... exactly. Even if they're not her related by any form of bloodline, it's a fair. Kids are supposed to have fun. They're supposed to have sugar. It's part of being a child.
All right. So when we're going to make a popularity roll out of this, what's your character's popularity?
25 locally for Amarillo, 20 otherwise.
All right, great. Let's make a local roll then for your popularity and see how well that does for you.
Yep. $96.
Wow. Okay, and on a 25, that's in the red. Yeah, it is. It is in the red. So while handing out cotton candy, you hand cotton candy to one little girl and a nearby mother. She's slightly overweight, pastier than the color white on the background of a sheet of paper. Says, we'll make the statement that, don't let... Oh, hang on 1 second. Dual alarms. Don't let her give candy to your kid. She's a doctor who kills kids. Another woman pops up and immediately tells the woman off, telling her, "We don't like your kind around here. Take yourself and get out of here. This is Dr. Masterson. She's helped my family out." And then the woman sneers at this lady who drives her, that drives the woman away. And then, other people ask questions and other people point out and realize who you are. And they thank you for doing the work that you've been doing. And, the kids are all excited as they start blurring between dimensions as they start shoveling sweetened foods into their face.
Well, it's a bit of a mixed reaction. Her face gets sadder initially during the attack, and she ends up chewing on her lip. Her hand reaches toward a pocket, but she manages to restrain herself. And while the other woman comes to her defense, she actually blushes at that. And at the end of it, though, she herself is distracted by the children being excited. And for 1 minute, maybe slightly more, she forgets everything that has gone on that she wasn't capable of succeeding at. The list of names in her head blurs and no longer speaks to her for that period of time.
Awesome. Just a moment of release. Excellent. I like that. I like that a lot. All right. So we'll move on to Mr. Fairfield. Tell us about this. What?
Farfield.
Man, we're just going to change your name to Fairfield.
No, just think of it as far afield.
Yeah, because he's
Far, far from home, far afield.
Exactly.
Okay.
He's ET.
Mr. Farfield, tell us about this pixie you found.
Classic Texan drawl. Tiny little thing, brought it down to it. Not sure if it's freezing or not, or it is still there. If I were in Texas, it's probably dry heat. But still fair enough. I think she said she was going to college or high school or something. She looks a bit my age, but it's a bit once I stopped listening.
Hang on.
Just make sure when it's not your turn to keep your mic on mute. Stop listening.
Wow. Mr. Farfield, where have you taken your date at this county fair? Maybe the livestock show, rodeo. Maybe decided to go show off your strength at the strongman.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to take her to one of those absolutely rigged, hit the weight with a hammer, try to make the bell ding.
All right. There it is, standing before you, your nemesis. A machine which is designed to make you fail, no matter what you do. It's not in how strong you are. You've heard it's something about technique and the way you move your hips. And before you stands the pixie, whose curves accent in the daylight shining through her soft dress and her flowing hair. And you're just trying to impress her just enough. Just enough. So, to beat the machine, you have to either one, know what needs to be done, the technique, or two, beat it in a strength test.
Muscle the shit out of it.
It's all about technique, isn't it? I'm going for a brute strength, though.
Excellent. What is Mr. Farfield's strength?
Farfield's strength is an excellent of 16.
Wow. All right, describe it.
So, Bruce picks up the hammer, but like he thought, the competition was rigged. The hammer was a lot lighter than he thought, and as he picked it up, the hammer swung back and smacked him in the face, and dropped the hammer on the weight, and it barely got above the mark of 5.
The carny running the show goes, "Oh, that's too bad there, Studley guy. Maybe next time you might actually make it above wimp." Step right up. Who's next? Now, what does Bruce want to do?
Bruce kind of laughs it off and takes his date over to the ring toss, hoping that, if the root strength isn't his working for him today, that, a simple flick of the wrist will be.
Excellent. The ring toss is a test in either technique or agility.
I'll go with agility because, again, who needs technique when you've got a body like an Abercrombie and Finch model? His ability is, again, excellent of 16.
Wow.
With roll 94.
Boom!
That falls into the farthest yellow, 1 point away from being in the red, but still, it's amazing. Go ahead and let's hear the description for this one.
Alright, Bruce winks at the girl and says, "Don't worry, that was just just a little teaser, but here's where my skill really pays off. He turns around, covers his eyes just for added effect, and chucks it over his head. A solid ring around the milk jug.
Nice.
The Cardi belts up. Congratulations! You won a prize! You can pick from the bottom rack over here unless you hit another ring around another milk jug, son.
Cockily, he just looks at the girl and, without even saying anything, takes another ring and throws it over his back. And completely misses. He turns around seeing that and gives a small shrug and asks for a teddy bear.
The man says, "Here you go, son." Pulls off one of the smaller teddy bears and hands it to you and says, "It matches your eyes."
And Bruce hands it right off to the girl.
That's good. Awesome. Do you want to do any quick other carny things, or should I go ahead and move on to the next member of our party?
I'm not really too sure what there would be other than, I don't know, a couple of rides.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, let's just say he spends the rest of the uneventful part of the evening taking her on rides and, eating corn dogs.
The sun is now at the point where it's setting, slightly cooling off, but doesn't mean the day is any less hot. The dry heat is pouring through the arena
Yeah.
as you have made your way into the stands. The announcers are calling, "Oh, hey, we've got this guy who's roping, this guy's doing that." But you've been in the stands for some time waiting for this great moment in
Yeah.
which the bull riders come out.
Actually, I think that she probably knows several of the athletes that are participating, so she's probably not in the stands. She's probably in the
The bullpen?
yeah.
Oh, okay, you're in the bullpen?
Yeah.
From what I remember, that's the thing. That
It
can
is a
happen.
thing.
Yeah. So you're in the bullpen with some of the athletes,
Yes.
and you you get to see the first ride. Or go ahead, we'll do a dice roll for it.
Okay.
Let's see. All right, let's see how well these guys do. The first rider gets out. Ooh, he rides maybe 2.5 seconds before the bull throws him.
That was really hard landed too.
It was, and the rider rolls off to one side. The bull flip-flops around for a moment or two, and the clown runs in front of him, and the bull continues to do its bucking motion, and then starts racing after the clown. Some music plays, the crowd cheers. The next rider comes up. She's a bit more experienced. All right, let's see how well she does. She rides for a good solid 5 seconds. The crowd cheers before she loses her seating, falls off to one side, and gives a roll. The bull immediately stops as soon as she's off and starts walking back to the pen.
It's like, I'm done now.
Yep. All right, let's see what our third contestant looks like. Get me a name, please.
Arthur.
Arthur.
Arthur Knoll.
Arthur Knoll. How do you spell his last name? N-O-L-E?
Yes.
All right. Next rider up is Arthur Knoll, friend of yours. He gives a wave to everybody with his hat as he gets up onto the bull and starts to get ready. The buzzer's ringing, and something extraordinary takes place. Arthur has stopped, and he's looking down. Whoa, whoa, he starts saying, "Hey, y'all see this? Y'all see this?" And about that time, there's a blinding flash of light. The pin bursts open, and the door doesn't just fly off to one side, it flies off.
What?
The bull takes off bounding into the arena with Arthur. And the bull is iridescently glowing, a bronzy color. It doesn't take any time before the bull throws the rider to one side. the crowd is definitely, and it's like the sun's light is just wrapped this bull in a nice warm cocoon, and the bull throws the rider to the ground, and everybody's staring in awe, like, wow, what just happened? Then the clown jumps up, doing his job. He runs from behind his barrel, gets the bull's attention, and before he has a moment to do anything, from the face of the bull, it snorts, and a cloud of iridescent gas shoots out like a fist, punching the clown, knocking him to the ground. It's making him slide like a good 5 or 6 feet, and the crowd goes silent. Then the bull begins raking into the dirt a couple of times as the clown's trying to gather his feet and bearings.
Well, I'm gonna be jumping over that fence and getting to Arthur, because that ain't no normal bull now, is it?
No, it's not. Something is very odd about it. All right, you run over to Arthur. He seems to be unconscious.
Okay.
Or at least he's not moving to. He's like, oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick him up and get him out of the way before, whatever. What bull's name is that? Because they do have names, right?
Yes, this one's named Brass.
Oh. Well,
He's got. His last name is not Bull though. It's not Brass Bull. It's because he's a very. What would be the good word? Ballsy. He pushes riders.
okay.
So, anyways,
So
Brass.
so he's a mean bull.
He's a very mean bull.
So, yeah, I'm gonna get Arthur out of the way because he can't handle himself right now.
All right.
And then, I don't know, watch and see what Brass is up to.
Brass charges the clown, who gets up and begins to try to run. But it's too late. Brass clips him. The clown goes flying off to one side, but Brass is not able to stop before he hits the section of the concrete divide and the bandstand, and then goes through it. Rocks begin flying, people are screaming, and he charges into the county fair out from the arena.
Oh, shit.
Screaming can be heard. Oh my goodness, People in the stadium, the stands that he just run through, they're trying to get up and see what's going on. What just happened? Because the bull just went through
Oh, God.
the divide,
Okay.
knocking down the little metal caged walls, going through a concrete divider.
Now, is the whole stand, collapsing, or is it...
It might.
Okay. Well, then I know what I'm gonna be, working on then.
All right. So what I'm going to say to everyone is that it's easy to hear from wherever you're at that there's commotion. Commotion is easy to tell. People yelling and screaming. Sure, you're at a fair. Maybe you're near the Tilt-A-Whirl, and there's that kid who's screaming, oh my God, my stomach just went into my chest. That might happen. But these are people panic and screaming. So, since you're the closest, you'll get the first round, and then we'll do one round with you and whatever it is you're going to do,
Alright.
and then everybody else will get a chance to become aware of what's going on.
Alright. So, is there a way for me to do, trying to figure out if there's a way to, know if the stands are going to hold or if they aren't?
Reason.
Okay. You want to do that?
You click it?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I got a 12.
Darn it. Okay, well, I've got excellent. I don't know if that really says anything.
Yeah, it means you have no idea. Do
Awesome.
you have anything like structural engineer or anything
Nope.
like that will help? Okay. So in the future, if you really wanted a roll to succeed, you would say karma, but then you'd be dumping a lot of karma
Right.
into that roll. So
I mean, it's fine. So,
You have no
are there, how many people are there?
3d10.
Okay.
Let's see what that says. 1, 2, 3. It's 14. About 14 people in the stands in that section that Brass just ran through.
Okay. I'm gonna start making my way, running actually across the arena.
Okay.
And let's see, who do I got on call right now? Probably the owl bear, because he's
Got
big
it.
and tough
Okay.
and holds shit up.
All right. it is part of your. So your action is you want to run across the yard and bring out your owlbear.
Yes.
Okay. So.
That's what he calls it anyway.
Right. In a round, you guys all can make an action and a movement. That's it. If you want to make more than one action, you have to make a fighting roll. So you're only doing one action, and that's bringing out your owlbear. When your owlbear comes out, he can then make a movement and an action.
All right.
So you run across the stadium, across the
Yeah.
hay-covered grounds. You get there and describe it.
So, the owlbear is actually one of the newest tats that I got. My artist Frank, he's really into this thing called Dungeons and Dragons, and he likes to, express his love on my body. No sexual connotation intended there. 'Cause, nah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so I will let my owlbear out. I haven't named him yet. But, so I'm going to call forth my little owlbear, who's not little at all. And, make sure that it's, because it's, oh man, I gotta show you. I'm going to have to show you guys all the tats that I found and, put them in a file so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But this beastly bear with feathers and a really sharp beak and just claws to no end with some wings on it essentially starts sliding off of my leg and becoming a three-dimensional creature that is going to be running towards those stands with a little gliding flat of his wings to help him out to get there faster and start propping up the stands, making sure they don't collapse on anybody.
All right. I'm pretty sure that's going to terrify the people seeing something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
terrified
It's a terrifying creature to begin with, and yeah, I mean he's not going to hurt them.
No. But they also know who you are.
Right.
So I'm going to make them get a psyche roll at the average person being typical. They're going to be at a good.
All right.
Nope. I'm pretty sure people are panicky at that. And so as Owlbear runs forward, he grabs the stands and begins wedging himself into underneath the braces underneath it.
Yeah.
He's going to hold it up while they flee
Well, they run in terror
from this.
from the owlbear.
Now, when your tattoos form, do they look like moving drawings, or do they look like real creatures?
The older ones do look like drawings, but as I've gotten the newer ones, they do look a bit more realistic.
Okay. All right. Well, so let's go off and see what Brass is doing, and then we'll start the next round. Brass charges out into the county fair, and he sees his most hated opponent, which is everybody, because he's just damn well mean. And so the first thing he's going to do is pick something to charge. I have already previously picked a list of objects Brass wants to attack. He hates clowns, colors of clowns, and flashy things. So he sees not the tilt-a-whirl, the thing that goes around, the Ferris wheel.
Oh, shit.
He sees the Ferris wheel and hates it. So his round is charging the Ferris
Although
wheel.
the tilt-a-whirl actually is the more colorful option.
Oh no, what's the one that spins and turns you upside down?
Oh yeah, the gravitron thing. Or
Gravitron 9000. That's what he's going to attack. I'll change my list later. So Brass will charge the Graviton. And at this point in time, that's his action. It takes him around to move that direction because he's moving. He sees people. He's trying to figure out how he wants to get there. So now we're going to do the next round. And in this round, we're going to use initiatives and go full-fledged into the system of combat, especially if you guys engage Brass. So we'll first ask. The way this combat system works is we ask what your actions are, and then we roll initiative, and then we go from highest to lowest. So we will start with my list is Dr. Masterson.
I presume I can't actually see Brass. I just hear the commotion.
The snack foods at most county fairs are really close to where all the puka whirls are at. So you should be close enough to either get an idea where the commotion is coming from. But you can definitely hear people yelling, "Bull! There's a bull out of the pen."
Okay. Then what I'm going to do is Dr. Masterson looks around at the children and at their parents, and she very calmly goes, "Gather up the children, take them toward safety, move toward the parking lot." And while she's speaking, she focuses her scent and attempts to use it, even though it's not to her understanding yet. She doesn't know what it's quite capable of, so she's going to try and not only keep them calm, but as she's talking, make them think that, absolutely we want to listen, we must do this type deal, so that, they basically go, "Oh, I like her, so we must do this" type deal.
Excellent.
The normal thing that most guys see when they see a good-looking woman and she goes, blink, blink, wink, and please do this, and they fall over themselves.
So stereotypical.
Miss Barfield.
Mister. I think you said miss.
I did?
Yep. I think you did.
Farfield, Bruce Farfield will try and shove the pixie out of the way. And by shove, I mean, hide her, and then figure out what the commotion is.
You are in the area of the Ferris wheel because you were on the rides, so you would see the escaped iridescent bull.
Wonderful. So I know what the commotion is. Action would stay the same. I would tell Pixie to, stay where you are, stay safe, stay hidden, keep going. And I'll be right back before dashing off to this football.
All right. Your action of saying and then moving, so you still have an action left. Do you want to confront the bull, get its attention or something?
Yeah, what's, for the body transformation, A, does it have a physical, like a visual effect, and B, does that take a full action?
Yes, it takes an action, and that choice is yours. You can become like a statue where your skin marbleizes. You could grow rocks. It could just be,
Your skin turns gray.
or nothing changes about you, you just get really tough.
Okay, in which case I will transform my body into something tough, something that falls within the remarkable category, but without any visual change.
All right, let's check that real quick. And I have materials listed in the other book.
87-year-old smoker skin.
Oh my god. I'm invulnerable.
It's called living leather.
I believe that's correct.
Concrete. Concrete is a remarkable.
Reinforced concrete
Reinforced concrete.
and steel.
He can't do steel.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah. So, and now let's find out what Mr. Justice is doing.
Do I have line of sight?
This is a good question. At this level, there are too many people in your way to get line of sight of what's going on. I would say the answer is yes, you could get line of sight, but you need to change to somewhere where you can see what's happening.
I'll take 3 steps up into the air, drop to a knee, and I'm going to shoot one of the horns off the bull.
All right.
Damn. That's awesome.
All right, and lastly, Miss Williams.
All right.
I'd like to make sure that everybody is safe and off of the bleachers, because that's definitely her number one mission. Make sure everybody stays safe, and then start moving past, like through the where the bull ran through the bleachers. Just run right through where it cut its path and chase after it a bit. And then once I know everybody's off the bleachers, I'm gonna get my little owl friend to chase after it with me. So we're gonna start playing a game of cat and mouse and pounce on it.
So you once you find it to pounce on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So no, only 2 people are engaging in combat, and that would be Maddie and Kyle. So only those 2 and Brass need to roll initiative. Initiative is a D10, and you add in a +1 per every 10 on your intuition. So your intuition is a good, so you don't get any bonus. So you just roll a D10.
Okay.
Brass, on the other hand, has a horrible intuition. He just gets a D10 as well.
All right.
So let's see what. Ready?
Yeah.
Maddie gets an 8.
Okay.
Brass gets a 6. You want to track this for me?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Just give me 1 second before you go onto the recording. I just gotta change over. Okay.
The newspaper will call this the Bear and Bull. Good morning.
And Kyle got 7.
Does Kyle have any bonuses?
Typical intuition.
Oh, right. So, Maddie, you and the owlbear are up first.
All right. So everybody has run off in terror from the section of bleachers that were damaged?
Yes.
Excellent.
When you come out into the opening, though, to find him, you notice people are orderly leaving toward the parking lot in lines. They're forming nice little groups, and they're heading out.
Oh. Excellent. Some really good people know what to do in panicking situations. That's good. Yeah. So once it's done, I'm going to send my little owlbear over to try to stop that bull from destruction of property.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the bull's action is still to go after the Gravitron, so that's its action. You wanted the bull to try to stop it, so
Yes.
that means the owlbear, you wanted the owlbear to stop it, that means the owlbear is going to run up and grapple the bull or
Yeah.
get in front of the bull.
It's going to fly in front of the bull and then like raise itself up real big
Mm-hmm.
and then tackle it.
Okay. So tackling. I know this is. It is under grappling.
Okay.
So that's what you want to do. It's a strength test.
Okay.
Now the owlbear, I have his stats in my head, just not on a piece of paper.
Right.
He's got flight. I'm imagining he's got some armor and some endurance. So I was going to set his strength at an excellent.
That sounds fair.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see how well we do with an excellent strength against the bull. A 92. Very nice.
So that is in the yellow, I think.
That is in the yellow, which is a lock. So the owlbear grabs a hold of the head of the bull and begins holding on to him. Next is Kyle's turn. Kyle, you leap into the air quickly, weapon ready, and you see the most strangest thing. A large
feathered bear with wings and a giant beak has grabbed the bull by the horn, so to speak, and is blocking it from attacking any people on the Gravitron.
Oh, ain't that an odd thing to see?
Yes. So your shot for the horns isn't possible because the bear thing is grappling it. You can still shoot, but you lose -2 because you have to kind of change your action.
So what I see is a world-class county fair bull being eaten by some beak-faced monster.
Yes.
Yes.
And I shoot the beak-faced monster.
All right.
awesome.
I love it. Shoot the beak face. All right, and you lose 2 CSs because of you changing your action, so you go from an unearthly down to amazing.
Wait, 2 CS for what reason?
Because your target was the bull,
Oh,
but
changing target.
because you had to change your action.
All right, so that drops to amazing.
But amazing of a
It's still
54 is still in the yellow, and for shooting, that's a bullseye. What kind of gun were you firing?
That's the Winchester.
And how much?
Hunting rifle.
And how much
Damage
damage?
10.
Damage is 10. We're going to say the owlbear probably has a damage of typical, because it's thick hide, so it takes 4 points of damage.
Okay.
That definitely catches his attention.
Right.
You will know when things like your animated drawings get hurt because you can see it, not feel it. So you're like, oh crap, something just jumped up and bit him in the eyes.
Right.
All right, and lastly, it's the bull's turn. With the owlbear slightly distracted, and he really wanted to get to the Gravitron, he is going to throw the owlbear off to one side, and he's going to do so by using his newfound snort attack.
Okay.
His snort is based off his agility, and he really wants this to happen, so he's going to spend some karma.
Okay.
I got an 89.
Oh, Jesus.
A minimum I have to spend is 10, so he gets a 99. He's doing an energy attack, so it's a slam. Does that say slam or stun? That says stun. Yes, it's a stun attack. All right. So now the owlbear makes a roll on endurance versus the stun.
Okay.
We'll say it's got an excellent. It rolled a 100.
Okay.
The attack is strong enough to force the owlbear back, breaking the grapple at this point. Oh, I forgot to mention, he has an agility of typical, but because his attack was supposed to charge he loses 2, he still went to feeble. That's why I was spending. He still makes it into the red for this attack.
Okay.
The bull does.
That's fine.
The bear is taking no damage because his armor is going to absorb it all, and he's not even stunned. But he is no longer grappling the bull.
Right. Check.
Kyle, you are able to witness that the bull shoots Emergence style energy.
Well, it's Kyle and Evan.
Oh,
See it
that's
as well.
true.
Yeah.
Kyle and Bruce, you mean?
Yes, Kyle.
Kyle and Bruce both see that the bull shoots emergent style energy from its nose, like in a powerful snort attack that knocks this massive owl creature back.
Good on the bull.
Yeah. Go Texas.
Hell yeah. I'll holler out. Go Longhorn.
All right. So we're going to go through descriptions again real quick. We'll start off with the doctor.
Seeing that they are moving along, can she see the bull and the owlbear and everything that just went down?
I will say yes because you have organized the crowd to leave orderly. You are very aware of the current fight scene. You are not aware of the bulls spewing out any kind of energy, and you'll need to make an intuition check to see if you see Kyle floating in air.
Okay. 1 second. Ding, 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 ding. But can I see the color of the bull? Is it with the whole glowy brass type look that it had?
Yes, the iridescent color.
Yes. Being somewhat familiar with that, I'm going, and my one thought is, hey, we considered this at the CDC. We had wondered whether or not it was whether or not we'd have emergent animal kingdom, and I got a 59 on the intuition.
And your intuition is?
My intuition is it is good.
59 lands you in the green. Great. Yes, you are able to see Kyle, or as Kyle will describe himself in a minute, floating in air with a rifle.
Down on one knee,
Yeah.
resting just like it would be the solid earth.
Nice.
Well, you don't see that every day. She is going to move to place herself between the people that are leaving and this situation, trying to assess it better to completely figure out what's going on, because we've got floating people, we've got strange bulls, and we've got
Monsters
other
with
monsters from out of stuff that she used to play in high school, and it's just really, really odd. By any chance, does she see Maddie?
Maddie is currently catching up.
You're within one
So,
area,
yeah.
game mechanics. So if she just made a good intuition roll, or should say her intuition roll around into the green, she would be able to see people around, and especially somebody she might recognize. So
Yeah.
the answer would be yes.
I'll say yes then.
Okay. Maddie, get away from here! Get away from here now!
Okay.
But otherwise, she's doing her, passive protect people and keep them safe before she'll directly engage. Once she's figured out the situation, then she'll start and making certain that children are definitely away. Then she'll probably get involved in the actual battle.
Bruce Farfield. Got it right, finally. Sort of.
There you Bruce will kind of jump in front of the ball, try to taunt it, and then try to headbutt it in the head.
Nice.
Ooh. Okay. Kyle Justice.
Is that monster still out there?
Yes.
Put down.
Take.
At this point, could I be rolling for initiative or rolling for the attack?
You would roll for initiative after we're finished with everybody's descriptions.
Alright, so here's for initiative.
Kyle, I assume, is going to make another shot for the animal.
For the monster.
Yeah, we'll shoot the monster in the back of the head.
All right, call a shot for the back of the head.
Oh, damn.
And what is Maddie going to do?
Maddie is, Maddie is going to be running towards, she's going to be running towards the bull, and she's going to take out her little laser gun and start firing some stunning missiles.
Okay. The bull will see both the owlbear and the person yelling at him, because Bruce is yelling, and will dislike the owlbear more. So the bull is going to make multiple attacks at the owlbear. It's going to call for extra attacks, and both of them are going to be its snorty blast in the attempt to knock the creature away from it. So that's the initiatives. That's the actions. Let's determine initiatives.
Okay, you want to roll for me first?
Oh, it's a D10 for initiative.
Yes.
Alright, so
Do you want an actual roll for me?
You're not engaging in combat, so you don't have to.
Alright, so I got a 2.
Okay.
The bull got a. Oh, Evan. Oh,
The bull
Bruce
gets 7.
7. Alright, Kyle.
5.
5. Okay. Alright.
Does Bruce have an intuition? What's Bruce's intuition?
Typical.
Okay.
So, typical of 11. I'm assuming that's +1.
Oh, a typical of 11? Typical is generally 5.
Sorry, that was my initial roll. You're correct. Typical of 5.
So yeah, you still got a 10. All right, so the first up is Bruce's action. You want to get the bull's attention so you can headbutt it. So to do that, you're going to need to you're doing a pre-action you're doing an action to intimidate it, and then your attack is to headbutt it. So we're going to say that you don't have a movement. You're just trying to get its attention. That is a popularity test against people. I don't know what it would be against an animal other than a bunch of yelling.
I mean, it might be like, say, something like strength,
No.
or like you're like showing that you're powerful kind of thing.
No, I know what it is.
Psyche, it's a willpower test, trying to impose your will over an animal.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
I think that's exactly what it needs to be.
Okay, regardless, I got a roll of 54.
What's your psyche?
4 of 3.
You have a cow whisperer talent.
Oh, I'm Canadian. No.
All right. Well, if your willpower is poor, it's a 56 or better to get the bull's attention.
Looks like I'm hitting the side of this something.
All right. Still get a chance to hit its head. Let's go ahead and see if you hit with your head to the bull's head. This is a fighting attack.
Fighting is remarkable at 26, rolling at a 78.
Which means you land in the yellow. Which means you got a hit, and also you have a chance to slam the creature down. Now the bull gets to roll versus your slam, and it's based on its endurance. The creature got a 79. Its endurance is excellent. Excellent. 79 is in the yellow. So it's staggered. What's your character's strength?
Excellent of 16.
Excellent of 16. Okay. When your head plows into the head of the bull, the shimmering iridescent light flashes around the bull for a little bit and then comes back to being iridescent, like it disappeared for just a few seconds. You don't feel like you really hit the bull too well, but you did stagger the bull to one side. So what everyone sees is a young man yells at the bull, rushes forward
Slams into it.
with his head.
Because why not?
All right, good hit.
Dr. Masterson seems to be quite impressed.
It's a cement head. Why not?
Reinforced, in fact.
Next up is the bull. He's going to lose 2 from this because he's going to turn his attention away from the owlbear to the kid who just attacked him. So he's not going to do 2 attacks. He's just going to snort blast you. He's going to spend karma on this one because he's really pissed. So let's see how that works out for him. He's rolling on a feeble. 93. So he has to spend 10, so he automatically gets into the red. Minus 20 so far.
I think you just killed Concrete Boy.
It's a force attack, so it goes straight to stun. Bruce gets to roll an endurance to try not to be stunned.
Wonderful. And is there body armor for that as well?
The body armor will absorb the damage from the attack, which is only a typical. $93, and what? Oh, that was my roll. Sorry. 71.
So 71 with a good endurance of 8, along with a body armor of, I believe it's remarkable 26.
71 is in the green for good, which means you are disorientated. you disoriented. Means
So you got hit so hard you're both.
So after being headbutted, the bull reels to one side, turns, and lets loose with a face full of nostril gas that slams you back, pushing you only a few feet, causing you to become disoriented, and the bull's attention is now completely on you. Next on initiative, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this round right to the back of that hair, meat face's head. I don't have one of those on my trophy wall.
That's awesome.
Ooh, 81. I do believe, yep, 86 is in the red for your shooting, so 81 is in the yellow. And for shooting, that's a bullseye. So that means you hit what you aimed for. Aiming for a critical location causes the damage to increase by 2 shifts. So it takes it from a 10 up to a remarkable of 30 points of damage to the owlbear. Now the owlbear's armor is going to stop 6 of that. So it's going to be another 24.
Right.
Plus what he already took a moment ago of 4, so he's taking 28 points.
Yeah.
We're also going to have to do an endurance check versus being disorientated from that,
Okay.
like a stun effect. So let's do that real quick. We said excellent for its endurance earlier, but that's a 37. That's a no. That's in the white. The owlbear is stunned for a round.
Okay. And do I see that it's hurting a bit?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Who's after Kyle?
That would be
Now, when they die, do your tattoos disappear?
if they actually die, I don't know I don't think we've decided on that entirely.
The power says that if the artwork gets destroyed, it is no longer able to return back to where it came from.
Yes, then I would have to get my tattoo artist to re-tap me there.
Ouch. That creates a scary bear.
I know, right? So yeah, Maddie is actually seeing that her new owlbear is not faring too well. She's going to actually instead of calling her little laser gun, she is going to call back her owlbear.
Okay. So no laser gun. There's no loss of the loss of dice doesn't really apply. You just change your action to calling the owlbear back.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
My poor little owlbear.
And after that headshot, describe what
How does
happens.
Yeah, how does that manifest? Because I want to understand that.
All right, so when Maddie calls back her tat, you see that it waves in almost like heat on asphalt, and it slowly turns back into a 2D image versus a 3D monster, and slides across the ground towards Maddie, and then progressively shrinks smaller and smaller until it finds its appropriate place back on her leg.
What the hell? I looked down at my rifle just a second.
You sure you haven't been drinking?
Just wait until you see my dragon.
That's a new power. I ain't seen that one before. I ain't never had a bullet turn nothing into goo.
Yeah, right?
Because I'm assuming that was all me.
Yeah, definitely. It totally was.
All right. So we'll go reverse order this time. We'll start with the bull because he's disorientated. I got slammed back, and then we'll go to Farfield. So the bull, who just slammed back this kid, the owlbear thing's disappeared. Realizing the kid's no longer near him, has turned its attention and is hauling butt for the Gravitron because it still wants to destroy the flashy thing. It's a very single-minded creature. That plus, want to roll the story plot forward. We'll move up. Mr. Farfield, you're disorientated, which, if I remember correctly, disoriented, which, if I remember correctly, means you have a -1 to all your actions for this one round.
Sorry, you cut out.
Sorry, cut off there.
Okay. During this round, you suffer a -1 to all of your actions.
Okay. Bruce will attempt to use his extra attacks ability to land a solid left and right hook to the bull's snout. He hadn't really been paying any attention to the owl bear, so the Texan shooting at it and it then disappearing didn't phase him at all.
Okay. Next on the list will be Maddie.
Alright. Seeing as how my owlbear didn't do so good, I'm actually going to, now I'm going to call forth my laser gun.
Okay.
And pew, 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 to the bull, the bull.
Shooting at brass.
I am
Pull your
shooting
gun and
straight
shoot
at
brass.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
shoot brass in the ass.
Kyle.
Since I'm already up in the air, I am going to sweep forward, grabbing that bunting that's just between me and the bull off that booth, and I'm going to swirl that right around that bull's head.
You're going to flying rope it.
I am going to fly forward and blind the bull by wrapping a bunting around it.
Okay.
Making sure that bunting gets draped over his eyes. Because a bull that can't see settles right down.
That's true. And the doctor.
Getting a little bit more confused, but realizing that there's still danger, she will move forward because, if I remember correctly, with only a typical power rank, she has to be within one area to be able to affect something for range.
Yes.
So she'll move forward till if she can get into range of the bull, and she's going to putting out her hands. Since she's never tried this before with something so large, she's not sure she can do it. But in theory, given that she's lifted bullets and other things out of people's bodies, she should be able to lift this bull off the ground, and if it doesn't have traction, it can't get anywhere.
Oh.
And so she's going to use her gravity manipulation in a extreme attempt to prevent any possible further damage or injury from this rampaging emergent creature. That, and if she can capture it alive for study by the CDC, we may be able to further understand how this emergence is happening, because this is a new thing now that it's crossed over and crossed between species and is now affecting animals. So this would be a good thing to study.
Excellent. Let's get some initiative numbers. I shall roll yours first. You got a 4.
8.
Here you go.
Four, 8. Okay, what's it? You did the bull got a 10?
The bull got a 10.
Okay. Kyle got a what? 6. And Bruce got an 8. Okay.
All right. So the bull wins the initiative as everybody is attempting to try to get in front of it, get his attention. It charges the Gravitron. Full speed, slamming into it, and doing so, its special powers make that its charge attack goes from an makes its charge attack jump all the way up to an amazing strength. It seems to be moving faster than a bull should move, and it slams into the gravitron, which at this time is trying to become to a stop so the passengers can get off because there's stuff going on. But it's slamming into the control box slash front postal area where the guy is now diving for cover. Oh God, the bull!
Oh man.
And the bull is going to spend the last of his karma ensuring he really wants to make sure he destroys this thing. And he is out of karma. I have actually 14 left, so let's see how this works. 77. He's on an amazing. A 77 is in the yellow. He could go to an 87 or 91. So we'll go to an 87. It still stays in the yellow. Oh well, not a big deal. A charge attack that goes in the yellow is a hit and a slam. So he will hit the tilt-a-whirl hard enough to do damage, breaking it on its axle and causing it to begin spinning, well, not attached to the axle anymore.
Oh no.
So the tilt-a-whirl is coming loose. And that, my friends, is the end of Brass's turn. He has succeeded in destroying the giant flashy spinny thing that he has always hated from his pin.
So
Next on the list for
it's
initiative,
Bruce and Chandra.
Bruce and Chandra both go at the same time.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Wondering, I rolled a 6, so wouldn't Chandra go
Oh,
ahead?
I thought Kyle had the 6.
Oh, yeah, Kyle does have a 6. And Bruce...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Had
Okay.
an 8. Bruce had an 8, so
Yeah.
I
got
see
it
what's
now. I
going
see
on.
what I did wrong. That's my bad. Okay, so Bruce is actually Bruce. So wait, no. I had it backwards. Get fucking shit. I'm just gonna say
I'm up.
I've been drinking.
Then
and
have another drink for me.
and I apologize in advance.
Excellent.
That's okay. Given what I'm about to do to you in the other game, I think we're fair.
Chandra, Doctor, what do you want to do?
Do I take a penalty for changing actions?
You do. A -2 action if you're not going to run up and try to get do your hoo-hoo dance for the bull.
Because I'm kind of... I'm thinking about switching the gravity manipulation to the gravitron to just make certain that it balances out so people can get off safely. And, that seems to fit given that her whole personality type would be about safety. And so, yeah, she'll do that, but it'll drop her down to feeble, but she doesn't know that she's only typical on her ability. So she will spend 20 karma because she is really concerned about these people on the gravitron and attempt to...
The good thing about spending karma is you just say, I'm spending karma. The minimum amount you can spend is 10. If you roll 100, you still have to spend 10. So you say, I'm
Right.
spending karma, you roll, and then you start throwing it in there till you get what color you wanted.
Okay.
Or you run out, like the bulls. The bull can't spend any more karma, he's only got 4.
Yeah. Well, let's see what this does.
$53.
So it pushes
What a
it to
feeble-
63 automatically.
53 would fail, but minimum of 63 would succeed. So if you push that sucker all the way up into the yellow, you could start slowing down the gravitron.
I've only got 32 to spend. So, what would 83 get me?
83 would still get you in the green. You would be able to start kind of slowing it down. I would promise you would keep it from hitting the ground and rolling off like a giant truck tire. How's that?
Works for me.
But you're
Again, she doesn't.
We're also saying that you're going to be straining at this point.
That's fine. Again, she doesn't understand her powers. She doesn't know her limits. So this is all, again, from my perspective of not gaming the system, but gaming the situation, so that it's all about being immersed and basically developing from there. So
All right.
it makes sense to me.
Next on the list is now it's
Now
Kyle and Bruce.
And Bruce. At the same time.
All right. So I guess my movement rate is because my air control is remarkable. So I'm not. I'm. It looks to everybody else like I'm just got a long loping stride as I'm running over the top of their heads in the air.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I reach down as I'm going by a couple people standing there, and I grab that red, white, and blue bunting. And as long as I've got it in my hand, it can also fall under my air control power. So it's kind of, I've got it where it's not flapping around to get in my face or anything. It's just kind of laying out. So as I extend my arm, it's kind of laying out. So all I'll have to do is run by that bull and just drape it right over his head.
Okay.
And cover his eyes.
You will get a +1 from attacking from above and blindsiding. So that's going to give you a +1 for attacking from above, +2 from blindsiding the creature. So give you a +3 to drop it on its head. Because it's light enough, you can manipulate it with your air. So you could use your air control, or if you want, you can use your agility.
I fully intend to having the air control power guide it right where I want it to go, as long as I've got it in my hand.
Excellent.
So did you say it was +3?
Plus
Or
3.
2? Okay, so that would make it a monstrous.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I believe that's in the yellow. I'm colorblind, so that green and yellow, when they get close, it's hard for me to see.
I am colorblind too, and it has been years of playing this game. I know where the line's at. You are in the yellow, so you have succeeded, and because you've done so well, we're going to make the bull roll against a stun. And then you can describe what happens. The bull rolled a 10, and right now its endurance is only an excellent, hasn't taken any excess damage. So 10 falls into failure. So yeah, what happens? Describe it.
Yeah, so not only does it just drape over the bull's eyes, but as he thrashes around, it kind of gets wadded up around his horns a little bit, and kind of gets tighter than I originally meant for it to. So it's actually covering his face, fully covering his face, and snagged on there.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
So now he's a red, white, and bull.
And he'll even snort, and his snorting won't cause it to come off. It just
He hears as I slide past him, "Oh, lay."
Oh, hey, motherfucker.
nice. I like it. That's definitely a humor award there.
Yeah.
Nice one. And now Bruce's turn.
All right, I'll give 2 to change my action, but seeing the bull incapacitated and, seeing the Gravitron slowly fall, I will try to dash over to said Gravitron and use my body to kind of like, I don't know, throw myself on top of as many people as I can. And use my strength to hold the falling metal off of them.
Okay. Thrusting yourself in there. It's to grab the Gravitron, catch an object, is agility.
Now, I wouldn't actually be grabbing it. Imagine me just going down on all fours on top of someone to shield them from the dropping metal.
Okay, so you're diving on the crowd to protect them from the Gravitron. Got it. Alright, so when the Gravitron hits the ground, you're just going to get hit. And then we'll see if you can take it.
Yeah, exactly. When it hits me, I'll just
All right.
Okay. Maddie.
Yes.
Excellent. So, I know I said stun, but I think I actually meant nullifying.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm sure you could change the bullets out mid-combat.
okay. I didn't know if that was gonna be a thing. So.
Yeah, I thought it was just one gun.
Yeah,
and,
it's
like...
just one gun, and I just choose what happens.
Okay.
So yeah, Maddie retrieves a very science fiction-y, like from the 1950s looking laser gun from her hip, and proceeds to take a shot at the bull.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what happens. I get a +2 CS because of my weapon specialist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I should get a +1 to my niche, but whatever. I'd still be last. So, I need to roll. to
Yes.
hit
Which is based off your...
agility. So
And
it
so-
goes up to remarkable.
That is correct. 45 on a remarkable lands you in the green,
Yay!
and you're doing a
A nullifier,
nullifier.
which is actually a typical. I didn't change those back yet.
Okay, that's fine. The bull loses. Oh man, he stops shimmering.
Ooh. Alright.
The bull will stop shimmering.
Excellent.
It doesn't do any damage. It just turns off of his powers that are typical and below. There's no resistance to it, so yeah, and he's not going to dodge because he can't see the attack coming.
Right. Okay.
Because somebody put a cloth over his head.
Nice.
All right, end of the round. The Gravitron would be crashing to the ground pretty quickly, but it's right now being... The Gravitron is being gravimetrically controlled. I don't know the word.
It's magic.
It's not magic. All right, and I'm going to base this off of a remarkable. We're rolling. It's a 33, so it's just going to end up being a hit. And because Bruce is there to kind of deflect the blow a little bit and save that person, let's see how much damage that is. It's going to be remarkable damage of a 30. Mr. Farfield, what kind of armor do you have?
Currently, the only armor that I have is a very stylish pair of blue jeans and white t-shirt, along with reinforced cement skin.
And how much damage will the reinforced cement skin take?
26.
So you'll take 4 points of damage from being hit by the Gravitron.
Ouch.
And does anyone underneath me get hit as well?
Now it's a strength test, which you rolled a 73.
Which was my 73 with an excellent of 16.
73 lands you in the yellow?
No, it's just yeah.
No, it's the yellow. Yeah, it's the yellow.
it's the yellow.
Yellow will allow you to deflect the blow. So yes, you do stop it from hitting the crowd and causing it to kind of roll off your back. Which...
Wonderful.
All right, so now we're going to step away from combat. The bull has been neutralized. I'm pretty sure at this point in time, with the assistance, you guys can save the Gravitron.
Yeah.
So Bruce is there, been hit by it. He's kind of deflected a little bit. Meanwhile, the doctor is trying to control it with her mind. So those two are occupied. What are the other two going to do?
I can bring out McGrab and Stab.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah. McGrab and Stab is a iron construct.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got one grabby hand and one stabby hand. and he's somewhere like on my side. It's like one of the, like maybe a few months ago got it, and he's like this giant thing with a big old stovepipe on the back, just spewing out steam and fire. And yeah, he comes out and look, I think he's probably about what, like 10 feet tall or something.
Yeah.
And big old iron construct. He's gonna go over to the gravitron and stop it from rolling too far.
Yeah, he'll, because it seems to almost be floating a little bit,
Yeah.
So he's going to pick it up and do what with it?
He's gonna pick it up and situate it so that the people are not hanging upside down,
Okay.
and sit it as gently as possible with his grabby hand to the ground.
Okay. So everybody will see this, Kyle. What does Kyle want to do?
So, from my viewpoint, I see that the tilt-a-whirl is laying on a fella,
Yes.
but he threw himself under there, and his skin looks normal, right? I can't tell that he's all densified.
Due to me taking damage, I would assume there's some breaking of the skin, but I'm not, a pancake, so.
All right. So what I see was the tilt-a-whirl squashed a fella flat. And is it still spinning out of control, or does it look like it's settling? I'm figuring it kind of looks like a coin as it's coming to a rest, right, after being spun.
Yes.
All right, well, I'll call that done. And the bull looks like it's all right. So I'll scan around and make sure there's no other beak-faced animals or anything that I need to worry about. And if everything looks settled, then I'm going to go back over and finish my contest.
Yeah, no, just a giant.
As you
iron
scan around to make
construct.
sure there's no crazies around, a large, strange robot made of metal will be picking up the tilt-a-whirl and setting it off of the Pancake Man.
Well, if it doesn't look like it's squashing anybody else, I'm going to assume that it's part of the cleanup crew. But if it looks like it's going to hit somebody with that thing, then I'm going to have to put it down.
One of the things that might be noted was that Chandra is currently sweating, but her entire, almost like an aura all the way around her form, has obtained this glitter-like glow, and even there's a stream of it that seems to be extending out toward the Galvatron. Suddenly we have Transformers in the mix.
Yeah.
The device, and even that's glowing with a strange glitter-like aura.
Excellent.
She doesn't look like she's doing any harm.
Definitely doing some strangeness. So, the bull is now nullified. The tilt-a-whirl, the gravitron, is now been set back to the ground. The people are all pulling back when they realize that the situation has come to a lull, or it's safe now. They all start cheering, and that causes the bull to start snorting and making a noise, and they all shut up.
I'll All right, now this you have to tell me whether or not this works with my air control. Since noise travels through air,
Mhm.
I intend to settle on the back of that bull
Uh-huh.
and dampen the air around its head
Mm-hmm.
with my hands so that it can't hear anything.
Doing that is called a power stunt. You need to spend 25 karma, and since this is the first time you attempted it, you need to roll into the red with your power.
Well, I have 25 karma, so we'll give it a whirl. A tilt-a-whirl.
So punny.
I have a feeling that Kyle is gonna get a lot of extra experience.
Extra karma.
Extra karma.
Oh, not that time.
With power stunts, you can spend karma into the actual roll still if you wanted to.
Well, but I mean that's so. If it costs me 25, I've only got one left anyway because I stored
Oh.
some of the others.
Right. So,
So the 25 that you spend doesn't go towards the die roll. That's just a
Yep.
flat out cost.
pass or fail, that still counts. So now you've made your first attempt. The next times, you have to now succeed in 3 yellows. You have to try for 3 yellows. And we'll go through it some other time, but right now you've made your first attempt. This is good. You're heading in the right direction.
Awesome.
Pass or fail, basically the ways out. Pass or fail, you've made your attempt. You've spent your karma. The next 3 times to make it happen would be yellows. Then the 5 times after that is greens. And after doing it a total of 9 times, you no longer have to do the stunt anymore to roll. It's automatic. You just roll to make the stun effective.
Cool. All right, that's fine.
So you try to do that, but it mostly just tussles the tarp around and makes it look like the tarp might... It's not a tarp. What was it?
Bunting.
A bunting. Makes it look like the bunting's about to come off.
Settle down.
Is the bull actually like moving or trying to run around or
Nope,
anything?
it's just standing there.
Oh, okay.
It's like a bird when you put the tarp, the cover over the cage, they shut up, they go to sleep.
Okay.
He's just kind of calmed down.
All right. Can I go ahead and try to hit it with a stun then to kind of,
Get it to move along.
well, either move along or just get put down temporarily.
Well, you could. Go ahead and give it a
until
shot.
until the people can come and round him up.
The people are still around, so I mean, you might want to, if you wanted to, you could look for them.
Who? Yeah, holler out. Who owns this critter?
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Chase is on her smartphone calling the CDC and the WHO to let them know that we have an emergent animal here currently contained and there needs to be a pickup team sent because we will want to investigate what has happened here.
Okay. All right. And with this time, you've made phone calls. We're calling people. We're resolving the rest of the carnival, the fair. The bull's Brass has been calmed down, and this is the chance for your characters to first have at least recognize the others. It's also 10:20 at night, and I have to go to work tomorrow, so this is the point where I'm going to dole out some karma, and we'll call game. Okay, so
Awesome.
this was real fun. I liked it. So
Game called on account of bull drag.
I'm sure there's some on the ground after what it went through.
the bull was a destructive crime. So if you're a hero, you can look onto the karma thing, and you can see, you might want to write this down if you want to be able to look this stuff up later. The bull was a destructive crime, and you guys stopped it. And technically, because you captured the bull and are allowing it to go back to its people, you made an arrest. So you stopped and arrested for a destructive crime. That's some karma there. Let's see. There was property damage, but not because of you guys. The bonnet being tossed on the bull doesn't really count for property damage. Let's see. Lives were saved. More than 5 lives were saved, so you guys get the maximum. And when you look at rescue/save life, that is per life saved. So that's, if you are a hero, that's 100 karma right there.
Nice.
Now, let's take a look at the bull and see what he falls into. His power rating was only an 84, so when you look at it, it says defeating a power rating less than 100. That's where the bull lies at for that. And his strongest ability was an excellent. So that's all it really falls into. So you get 20 for defeating him. Everybody gets that. That's pretty set.
20 and what? Because you cut out there.
Just 20.
Okay.
Just 20. All right, nobody died. And we will award. Let's see. That's pretty much that. Okay, role playing. You guys were very creative. A date, shooting gallery, just enjoying your time out, going to be away from the problems of your life. That's all really good role playing. I like that a lot. So you get role playing. I liked using the bonnet. That is definitely awesome. So that falls under Stump the Judge. Also, you tried a power stunt. That falls under Stump the Judge. So you get Stump the Judge twice.
That's just for Kyle.
That's just for Kyle Justice.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who said jokes at this point in time. I know Kyle kept making bull jokes.
Yeah, that was good. I've got to get on top of jokes and shit.
Yes. They will award you small 5-pointers. Okay.
Can you type those? You're breaking up just a little bit. I don't want to make you repeat everything you say over and over again. When it comes to the karma stuff, do you mind typing it?
Yes, we'll definitely do that.
You can make that up.
I will put it onto the Slack.
Yeah, that's fine too.
And the last thing to know is that you guys defeated. He's not necessarily a villain, but he counts as a villain. He counts as a villain being defeated publicly.
Okay.
So I will put this information into the Slack, and you guys then can, based upon what track you're following, calculate how much karma you're going to get. And then you, at the beginning of the next game session, you can have it divvied up. If you want to go ahead and spend it during the next few bits of downtime on the Slack, we're going to be communicating a lot more as we're going to start the clock of what's going on in Amarillo, Texas, because the sign of an emergent animal is just the beginning.
The beginning's a good place to start.
Always.
Yeah. I will probably do a little bit of role playing there to deal with what's happening at the WHO and the CDC when we bring the animal in for testing.
Of course. And
Because,
Yeah, so we can kind of role play out the next couple weeks, really.
Yes.
Until we get to the next game date. Alright, next game date. Let's look at the calendar real quick. Next game date is going to be the 21st of September. Mark that on your calendars or your phones and such.
I'm good for that date, as you know, unless the situation with my family changes.
No, that's fine. I understand.
Wait, sorry, I was bringing up the calendar. Which date is the next date that we're getting together?
September 21st.
That's what I thought. 7 o'clock?
Yes.
yes.
And if you guys are available to get set up maybe 10 minutes earlier so we can start our recording right at 7, that would be super awesome.
Should be.
Excellent. I will like to say, before we go and before we end the stream, I did enjoy everybody's role playing. I like the intricate differences between the personalities. I look forward to seeing how the model works out. I look forward to the drinking doctor. I look forward to the Texas Ranger. This is a really dynamic group.
I'm
I'm excited. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stop broadcasting now.
Okay.
Where's that button?
It's
gonna be a blast. Have a good one, all.